Top 3 stories everybody will be talking about.
President Biden has said that they will pause some armament shipments to Israel, particular sets of bombs that they will not be sending over there, which is a shift in policy, at least so far. Good thing we're talking to Jeff McCausland today. Also, Major Garrett is back on the show.
And Governor Mike Parson signed a $468 million education bill that would boost teacher pay and expand charters. He also will sign a bill blocking Planned Parenthood from Medicaid funding.
And the Cardinals did not play yesterday, so they will be on the road tonight. They've got the Milwaukee Brewers on the road, as I said, first of a 4-game series. Matt Pauley will join the show. He, by the way, has the pregame show tonight at 5:45. It was KMOX delay at the ballpark. It was
let's get it out. We all know what you're going to say.
Okay, it seemed like they probably could have gotten it in.
They could have gotten the game in.
It seemed like they could have gotten probably 5 innings at least. And I don't know. So now, and not like I really care about the Mets, but it seems like now here's what the Mets have to do.
They're going to be tired.
Poor Mets.
Yeah.
Poor Mets. They have to fly from Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
This is in August now because the makeup date is August 5th. It's a 4:00 game, by the way. So if you have tickets for yesterday's game, KMOX day, you can go to that game on August 5th. Anyway, so the Mets have to fly from Anaheim, come play a game on Monday here, and then go back to Denver. Right after the game. That sucks.
Well,
that really sucks for them.
Now, I know Major League Baseball has moved a game up, meaning earlier in the day at some point. Now, I don't know how far in advance they did that. Here's my issue. We all knew the weather was going to be bad at game time for a very, very long time. We knew for a longer time than we usually know when it comes to bad weather. It was this big target on Wednesday at 2:00. On Monday, could Major League Baseball say, instead of a 12:15 game, which we might get in, what if we made it an 11:15 game, which we will surely get in the entire game? If you know it is 99% sure you're going to have horrible weather at 2 p.m. for a 12:15 game, how many days in advance or hours in advance do you need before you move it 1 hour earlier?
So I think it's a lot more than you think. I think it's more difficult to push a game up than to push it back.
Certainly.
So staffing a stadium, and they do staff based on what the attendance is going to be, and the tickets sold are going to be a lot, even though there aren't a lot of people maybe in the ballpark. The tickets are sold, so that's how they staff. I think it would be tough to do that, even a couple of days out.
Tougher than creating a whole new day on August 5th and having the Mets
because
fly
now they have
back
months
and forth.
to plan for that.
I mean, I guess, but to be honest, 1 hour early, 2 days in advance should not be the end of the world for a ballpark.
I don't know. There's a lot of people at the ballpark that work there. I think it's tough to do that.
So you think it has nothing to do with the teams? You think Major League Baseball, in their magnanimity, I think I added one extra syllable there, thought these poor workers at the ballpark. You think Major League Baseball is thinking about the workers?
It's not about poor workers. It's about being able to staff it. It's about the team being able to, the food service people and the stadium staff being able to get everybody on board to come in 2 hours early or whatever it is.
Yeah, 1 hour earlier.
Well, but they would have to come in earlier. So I don't.
Everything would shift down an hour.
Yeah. So it's probably a lot more difficult to pull that off than you think.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It just felt ridiculous. And at the very least, start the game at 12:15 because it was actually beautiful.
For about an hour.
For 2 hours.
Well, no, the rain really started to come in about an hour after first pitch.
Did it?
Yeah. So I don't know, but we got to sit there for a while. I thought they would wait it out because the Cardinals didn't have to go very far.
I know you thought they were going to wait it out.
Yeah.
Because you told the Glover Show, don't go back to the studio. You're not going to have a show.
Yeah.
They went back to the studio
and they had a show.
They had a show.
Yeah.
That's a good thing they did.
Here's one thing I guess I feel like Larry David here. I've never learned one lesson in my entire life.
Yeah.
The amount of days that I worked for a baseball team going through this thing with rain delays and trying to guess, oh, they're totally going to try to play this game. No, they're not going to play this one. They're going to call it. I bet I'm right 30% of the time.
Yeah.
I can never figure out a pattern with these people. They never do anything normally.
And
it
yet
seems like.
you had the audacity to advise the Glover show not to prepare or show up to the studio.
I'm not going to name names.
Well, you're batting
but
300.
I'm not going to name. Well, that's pretty good, actually.
Because for our team.
I'm not going to name names. But I did tell one person, I'm not kidding you. There was one person who works here who said, do you think we're going to have a game? Because if not, I'm going to get a beer. And I said, you're fine. Go ahead. Go ahead, get one. I think they're going to play.
Yeah.
They're going to wait this out so you won't have a thing later to do. And I'm not kidding you. As soon as he cracked that bad boy, our boss walked in and goes, they're canceling the game. I went, whoops. Well, guess you're working a beer in today,
A beer
pal.
in. Yeah.
So
no, I mean, and we had a good time because it was KMOX delay at the ballpark, and we got to hang out in our KMOX suite, which was very fun.
We get the suite again.
We do, but my
5th.
problem is because I was not distracted by the game. I was very, very full. I was very
Oh my
full.
God.
I was uncomfortably full.
I'm feeling it today, baby.
Yes, by the time they called the game, by the time they said, we're not going to do this, I was so full. I was uncomfortable and unhappy. So, of course, we went to Ballpark Village.
Yeah, why not?
And hung out at the Bally's.
Yeah, Bally's Midwest
area for a while. So that was fun.
And they were playing on the screen the 2011 World Series game against the David Freese home run game.
Which was awesome because when David Freese hit the home run, the entire place erupted as if
Like
it
it was
were
alive.
live. Yeah.
I asked the question.
They were all screaming. It was amazing.
Do you think everybody here knows this is an old game?
Oh, did you ask?
Yeah.
I bet
there were at least a few
who were unaware.
who just thought, oh, there's a baseball game.
They
hit a home run.
We did have a really nice fan who came up, said she's listening. Hello to her. And our boss had bought some beers for me and Ranj.
Everybody at the table.
At the table, like, everyone who worked at KMOX. And this fan came up and our boss had just set the beers down. And she was complimenting us and was very, very kind. And then when she was done talking, she goes, should I just take one of these? Are we supposed to take one? And Ranj was like, okay. He was a few in. And she took one and left. And I'm like, that. And then our boss later was like, why are we a beer short? Because this woman
just walked up and helped herself. Yeah, okay.
She asked technically, and you said yes.
Are these for everyone? Okay.
I think that's exactly how you said it. Okay.
It was awesome.
And then I did notice a few minutes later, our boss was like looking and counting the beers. He's like, why are we short?
I think you forgot one, Steve. 314-436-7900. So there will be. So are we getting another KMOX day? Okay.
Whoa.
Is it called that?
No, I don't know.
I think
We're getting tickets. It's August 5th.
Yeah.
That's our new KMOX day, but I don't think there's anything.
I think we should get
extra.
2 days. In fact, I said it yesterday.
Yeah.
I said to people in charge, there should be 2 days. Early in the season, another KMOX day late in the year. And we're going to get that. Yep.
Interesting. Who did you tell that to?
A person. I don't know if they're going to
act on it.
Right. But there should be. Anyway, hope you had a great day at the ballpark yesterday.
We did.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Hi, I am Jackie Brock, the wife of our beloved Lou Brock, St. Louis Cardinal legend and Hall of Famer. I have a new resident. I am so excited to tell you about Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles, Missouri. It is my new residence where I find everything for life and living. The staff is incredible, kind, warm, cordial, supportive, everything that you would want in an independent living community. The activities are innumerable, and we find the food the best in town. Call in today about the $99 move-in special. 636-754-2317. I'll see you there.
Cardinal Cowboy here for Renner Garage Door. Serving St. Louis and surrounding areas since 1966. We does all applications of garage door and LiftMaster openers. RENNER. Forward and back. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at AutoZone. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You'd just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high, or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball. With Truehold's Sell and Stay program, you can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity, and you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high, and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Truehold.com.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
KMOX, where every crack of the bat resonates with tradition, passion, and the spirit of Cardinals Nation.
Chris and Amy show on KMOX. We were talking, or at least we did at the top of the show. We mentioned President Biden talking about or saying that he would end shipments of certain munitions to Israel if they implement a ground invasion in Rafah. And in an interview that just happened yesterday, he spoke on a number of different issues, including the one that we're discussing right now.
Civilians have been killed in Gaza as a consequence of those bombs and other ways in which they go after population centers. I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem. We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks like came out of in the Middle East recently. But it's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons and the artillery shells used that have been used.
Artillery shells as well.
Yeah, artillery shells.
So when this actually happens, or if it does, I'm sure there is already a political fight that's brewing as a result of this. I want to know from a military perspective, because none of us are military experts, if Israel can get to their objectives without these munitions. So that's the question that Jeff McCausland can answer when we talk to him at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. So I'm really interested to hear that. And that's the only thing, honestly, that I care about. Can they accomplish what they want to without these bombs and without all of the civilian casualties we've seen so far?
Right. And here is what we know. And all of this was also what's confirmed by everyone who is within the situation, any reporter, any military expert. But we spoke the other day with Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, and he said, yes, Hamas wants Palestinians to die. That's why they use Palestinians. That's why they use women and children as human shields, because it looks terrible. And the world is upset by it because it is a tragedy. Hamas creates tragedies because they want Israel to look like a bad guy, like the aggressor. And we also know that with Hamas, because they embed themselves in the civilian population, the military landscape and the civilian landscape are indistinguishable from one another. We also know that Hamas is bombing the crossings, the very crossings that the U.S. asked Israel to open and use for getting aid into Gaza, which they are. And they're attacking those crossings and hijacking that aid and killing soldiers trying to deliver the aid, just like they did at the Kerem Shalom crossing a couple of days ago. Here's what Biden is withholding from Israel. He is withholding a pending shipment of 2,000-pound bombs and 500-pound bombs. He is withholding artillery shells, as we heard there. He is delaying selling 6,500 joint direct attack munitions. Those are the kits that enable unguided bombs, aka dumb bombs, to be steered to a target, aka become smart bombs. Also, Politico is reporting that the U.S. is also holding back small diameter bombs. So what we see is the United States is holding back munitions of all size and capabilities, large and small, dumb and smart. So that effectively is going to at least hamstring, I would think, to a point, Israel's ability to go into Rafah, and also to limit civilian casualties. And then again, I'm glad we're talking to Jeff McCausland, Colonel Jeff McCausland, because how do you go after an enemy that is completely embedded in a civilian population?
Yeah, that's really the question here, because you cannot deny that way too many civilians have been killed, whether it's Hamas's fault, Israel's fault, a combination of the two. We're close to what, 40,000? The estimates are. That's a lot of people. And there are about 1.7 million people that are in this area right now that they are concerned about. So I think the United States is right to be concerned about civilians. This is a very complicated situation. So McCausland can provide a little bit of insight, because I'm not a military expert. It seems to me that these objectives could be completed in ways that don't kill as many people who have nothing to do with Hamas. But maybe he'll say differently. Maybe he'll say there's absolutely nothing Israel can do. They have to go in this way. They have to bomb all these buildings. All these people have to die. So if that's what he says, okay, I'll have to listen to that. But it just does seem like there's got to be a better way. Hey, so when we come back, our guy is back with us. He's been gone for like 3 months.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. People probably thinking, who's their guy?
Major Garrett.
Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington correspondent.
I forgot his name. He's been gone for so long. He's coming back with us. He'll be with us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about this stuff and more with him.
And yes, we just talked to a general. We're talking to a colonel, and he is a major, but that's his name. Well, I'm just saying, because you can't talk about generals and colonels and majors and not specify his name is Major, because there was a minute where when I was younger, when I thought Major Garrett was a military guy. How could you not? Matt, tell me you didn't think that at some point.
I did too.
Okay.
Major Garrett is next on KMOX.
All right, let's build a fence. STL Fence Works can help you out with that. They are making your outdoor dreams a reality, and they have been for over 50 years. I would say my favorite thing about a backyard is a deck. It is just a must for me because it is an expansion of your home. It's a part of your home that allows you to sit outside and relax and enjoy the beautiful weather, or a quiet morning having coffee or barbecuing in the evening and listening to the Cardinals game. And I think a lot of times people hear, okay, yeah, I want a deck. And they hear the word deck and they start to think about all the maintenance that it can require. Not at STL Fence Works. STL Fence Works is the #1 distributor of Wolf Cellular PVC decking in the Midwest. That is the #1 maintenance-free decking product in the country. And it's proudly manufactured right here in the United States. You can know that you're getting a deck that is as sturdy as your home and that has a lifetime warranty that surpasses anything else in the industry. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
Whatever electrical needs you have, repair, service, replacement, call on Reinhold Electric. A live person will answer the phone call and they'll set you up with an electrician. If you need an estimate, absolutely free from Reinhold Electric, you will actually talk to a live estimator. No job is too big or too small for Reinhold Electric. Reinhold Electric, for all your electrical needs in residential, commercial, and industrial, call 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Do you limp out of bed with a sharp pain in your heel? Maybe it feels better when you start walking, but then bam, feels crippling when you get up from sitting again. That could be plantar fasciitis. This is Debbie Monterey. Take my advice and seek out the doctors at Feet for Life Podiatry for their decades of expertise with heel pain. Their advanced non-invasive procedures offer quick recovery times so you can enjoy your summer pain-free. Visit feetforlife.com for an appointment or ask for a virtual visit if you're out of state. Feetforlife.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
At 10:30, some clouds and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits jumped to its highest level in more than 8 months last week, in another sign that the labor market may be softening. Economic analyst, Bankrate.com, Mark Hamrick explains the latest.
New jobless claims are the closest thing we have to a real-time measure of the job market. Last week, the Labor Department reported that the monthly jobless rate held steady in April at 3.9%. Employers added 175,000 jobs, marking a deceleration from March's 315,000 jobs added. That was regarded as a fairly resilient report.
Donald Trump's defense attorneys are grilling Stormy Daniels on the transaction at the center of the former president's hush money trial. The defense pressing Daniels about why she accepted a $130,000 payment to keep quiet about her alleged sexual encounter with Trump instead of going public. At least one person is dead because of severe weather in Tennessee. Forecasters warned a wave of dangerous storms could wash over parts of the South. A day after the severe weather with damaging tornadoes and large hail, Murray County, one of the hardest hit, Deputy Chief Richard Schatz talks about the situation.
Some involved a much extensive rescue operation. Specifically, Franklin's urban search and rescue team worked for about 2 hours, removing debris and removing a victim out of a structure.
The Cardinals and Mets were rained out yesterday as the series finale could not be played. The Mets end up sweeping the 2-game series from St. Louis, and the single game will be made up at Busch Stadium later on in the season on August 5th. Up next for the Cardinals, a 4-game series in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Sonny Gray, who was supposed to start yesterday, instead will start tonight. He enters with a 4-1 record, a .89 ERA, 6:41 pitch. That means our coverage begins at 5:45. The Redbird Report is sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Win big with a pool or spa at AlohaPoolsUSA.com. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
There's a crash involving one vehicle on 70 going east to Cave Springs Truman in the center lane, and some road work moving slow on 6440 west at the Mississippi River. The right lane there is closed. Weather sponsored by U.S. Air Force of Mid-America Band. May concerts, breezy, pleasant, sunshine today, high 78. Shower possible overnight, low 53. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 71. 71 right now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America is bringing you free concerts May 21st, 22nd, and 24th, showcasing patriotic music plus Broadway tunes and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.com. That's afbandtix.com.
Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here. The NFL draft is behind us and your favorite team is now gearing up for week number 1. The free Odyssey app puts you right in the middle of the pro football conversation with the biggest sports radio stations from across the country. The local voices who know your team the best, giving you their unfiltered takes on the current state of your squad. It's always football season on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Download it today.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than 4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Saturdays are made for soccer.
Parker elevated now ahead!
Oh.
And it's in!
Oh.
City lead!
Catch St. Louis City SC soccer anywhere you go on the Odyssey app.
Oh, Roman Berkey! A huge save! Oh, Roman Berkey!
Saturdays are made for soccer. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Together Credit Union, the exclusive banking partner of City SC and Academy of the Sacred Heart. Independent Sacred Heart education since 1818.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Where opinions collide, laughter resonates, and the unexpected is always invited. The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
It's been so long, I don't even know how to introduce this guy.
He's back, baby. He's back.
CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent and the author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, host of the Takeout podcast, Agent of Betrayal podcast. It's Major Garrett, who is back with us after serving his civic duty.
Oh, man.
He's with us on KMOX. Good morning, Major.
Good morning. It's so very good to be back with you.
So tell us about your experience being a grand jury duty. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So for 5 weeks, Monday through Friday, from 9 to 5 p.m. at the U.S. Attorney's Office at 6th and D Street in Washington, D.C., I, along with my 22 other colleagues, served as a grand juror. We were sworn to secrecy, so I can't discuss any of the specifics of the cases, but I can tell you in broad strokes that we were presented evidence on 78 different cases, all but 2 serious violent felonies. So you can let your imagination run wild with that. Were there homicides? Yes. Were there kidnappings? Yes. Assault? Yes. Were there felony child abuse cases? Yes. Was it all grim, brutal, and emotionally draining? Absolutely. And it is the process by which crimes are prosecuted in the District of Columbia. It's not like a state. District of Columbia isn't a state. It's a federal district. So every crime committed in the city is prosecuted by U.S. attorneys. And that's who came before us. And there are elaborate procedures, even in a grand jury. Our burden of evidentiary proof is lower than a trial. It's not guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It's probable cause. So it's lower. I will just say in broad strokes that the U.S. attorneys who brought evidence before us in every case went above and beyond probable cause. There was more than enough to look at and say, okay, an indictment ought to be issued. So we were not asked to indict on close cases or in-betweeners or, well, I'm not really sure. There was a tremendous amount in almost every instance. And the decisions of the grand jury reflected that. But it is hard work. And there were many days where on the end of it, I was kind of in I don't want to over-dramatize it, but I was just in a very emotionally drained and non-communicative state. I just was kind of stunned by it all. The magnitude of it, the volume of it, and the severity of it. It was hard.
Major, to hear you, like a man of the world who works in the news, which is already pretty depressing. You've seen a lot of things that I think would break a lot of us. To hear you say you were stunned by it is kind of a shocking statement in and of itself.
Right. I mean, I've been around. I was a police reporter when I was first breaking into this business in the mid-1980s in Amarillo, Texas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. I touched deep occasionally into it on a as-needed basis in Houston, Texas. So I was around police news in the early part of my career. So I have a general sense of awareness about the harshness of the police beat and police news and what prosecutors and police deal with. What was different for me is I'm far removed from that, several decades removed from that experience. So I was retouching it, but in a more modern context. The volume, just the sheer volume of it was what was jarring to me. And look, there's nothing that is not shocking about a homicide. There's nothing that's not shocking about a child abuse case or a sexual abuse case. It shocks your sensibilities. No matter how accustomed you are to hard news or tough situations, as I've been in my 30 or more plus year career as a journalist, when you get it at an individual basis and when the victims are testifying before you, as many did in these cases before the grand jury, and you catch that energy and you see the tears and you hear the heartache in their voice, it carries you to a different place. It just does.
Was it as expected? I mean, I'm from hearing you talk about it, it sounds like it surprised you in many ways. But did you feel like you had a decent idea of what it was going to be like going in?
I had a decent idea, but I didn't have a particular idea. I had a very general sense, but I was not prepared for what felt like a conveyor belt of cases and how hard the cases would be and how grim and brutal the underlying details of the cases would be. And I just want people to think about this in their mind. So it's a conference room. There's 23 of us. I'm not giving anything away. These numbers are all on the website for the U.S. Attorney's Office. 23 is the grand jury. 16 is a quorum. 12 are needed to indict. Those are all basic numbers. But there was, at any given day, 18 to 23 of us in our conference room. Starting at 9, the door would open and a U.S. attorney would come in. And they would present their evidence and they'd walk out. And the door would close. And about 2 minutes later, there'd be another knock from another U.S. attorney. And the door would open and they would come in and there would be that case. And they would walk out. We might get a 5-minute break, a bio break, as we called it, so everyone could run to the restroom if they needed to. Then the process would begin again. And this pace of door opening, case brought, door closing, door reopening, a new case brought was, I don't want to say relentless, because there were occasional breaks in the action, but it felt like a conveyor belt, like there was just always more work to do, more evidence to sift through, more decisions to make, more witness testimony to take, more things to put on the record. And at times, it just took my breath away.
Well, Major, shifting to the conflict in the Middle East, because we could definitely continue to talk to you about your experience, but
Sure.
some breaking news yesterday with President Joe Biden announcing that the U.S. would be withholding pending shipments of ammunition, large bombs, small bombs, kits that would help make dumb bombs smart, artillery shells, and so forth. This is, at least seems to signify a ratcheting up or escalation of U.S. pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's strategy, specifically in Rafah. Do you see this as the beginning of perhaps the U.S. pulling away even more from Israel?
I don't see it as the United States pulling away from Israel. And considering all the vast array of options available to the president in terms of limiting access to military ammunition or gear or equipment or methods by which Israel can defend itself or act offensively, this is a very small portion of a very broad portfolio of weapons, weapon systems, ammunition, and the like. And it will not stop Israel from doing things offensively. And it will not in any way, shape, or form inhibit Israel from defending itself. It is more symbolically important than strategically important, because Israel will have all the things it needs if it wants to do a massive invasion of Rafah, to do it if it wants to. But it is a signal to the Netanyahu government that if you go into Rafah, and as the U.S. has said through Bill Burns, the CIA director, and the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, Israel doesn't have a plan, because the United States government is asked over and over, what is your plan? You go in there, you crush Rafah, you turn it into small bits of nothingness, you exterminate, in your words or your phraseology, Hamas, and you're left with all of the civilian casualties, all of the death and destruction. What comes next? Israel doesn't have an answer for that. And the Biden administration's perspective on this is that is not a price you want to pay, not in terms of international reputation and not in terms of owning what's left. What are you going to do about that? What comes next? There has to be an answer to that. And it's not for the Biden administration's lack of asking the Israelis what comes next. They can't supply an answer to that. And so symbolically, this is a signal to the Israeli government. We're not going to write you a blank check on something you don't have a plan for. You can carry it out if you want. Nothing that we're holding back or delaying from you will inhibit you strategically if you want to do this. But for the first time in this relationship that goes back to Harry Truman, we're telling you, we're not going to give you everything you might possibly want, because we think this is, for your interests, for our interests, a bad idea. And that's where things are. And sure, it's reflective of domestic political pressures here, some of which are being blanketly described by Republicans as pro-Hamas, that they're not. People protesting on behalf of innocent Palestinian civilians are not all pro-Hamas. They get lumped in there, but that is part of the political pressure the administration is dealing with. But that's where we're at.
Wanted to also talk to you a little bit about what happened yesterday. Marjorie Taylor Greene brought to a vote attempting to oust Speaker Mike Johnson from his position again, and she got like 12 people to help her out on that. It failed miserably. She said she knew it was going to. What's your take on all of that?
So look, Marjorie Taylor Greene operates on a completely separate plane of calculation, and she knows she's not going to lose anything personally from this spectacular failure, because for her and those who like her, the fight is what matters, not the ultimate outcome. And willingness to be brave, quote unquote, and do this and fall on your sword in public and be, quote unquote, humiliated only proves the genuineness, the authenticity of her willingness to fight, even if it means coming in conflict publicly with former President Trump, as it does in this case. But Marjorie Taylor Greene extracted from this something that she didn't have 2 or 3 days ago, which is a statement from the former president saying it's a bad idea. It may be a good idea in the future. Former President Trump's words. What does that tell Marjorie Taylor Greene? I'm okay. Even in a conflict with former President Trump, where he didn't want me to do this, I did it anyway, and he still gave me room to maneuver, which means she can still hold this threat over Mike Johnson's head and continue to say, well, he's more aligned with Democrats than he is with hardcore MAGA Republicans like me. So for Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is as close as she can achieve to a no-lose proposition. Is it bad for this super thin, razor thin House Republican majority? Yes. Why? Because it constantly evokes the systematic impression that they're chaotic, disorganized, and not really focused on governing. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is not really worried about that.
Well, speaking of no-lose propositions, who's on the takeout this week?
Jasmine Crockett. She is a first-term Democrat from Texas. She has been very outspoken about access to reproductive rights, reproductive freedom, abortion, everything along that. She's clashed many times with Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Oversight Committee. So she has lots of thoughts about Biden. She has lots of thoughts about campus protests on behalf of the Palestinians and President Biden. Very worried about Michigan. And all of that is part of the takeout this week.
Major Garrett, it's great to have you back. We've been worried sick about you. We're glad you're okay.
I'm so glad to be back. I can't wait to talk to you again next week.
We will do it next Thursday. Thank you, Major.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent. His podcasts are The Takeout and also Agent of Betrayal. You can get those on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, his book, The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie. He joins us every Thursday at 10:30, and he's back after grand jury duty. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. More than 11 years ago, we set out to help women right here in St. Louis. Today, Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Our work at Coalition Life continues, and we need your support more than ever in a post-Roe v. Wade world. Whether you join us as a volunteer, an employee, or a donor, know that you have a special impact to make for these precious children. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And if you have had somebody build a fence or a deck or something for you that was kind of on the cheap, you know what I mean when I say that Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a true value, because they're not going to be your cheapest bid, but they're going to be the best quality project that's going to last for years to come. So you don't have to chase somebody down the next season and say, hey, this is splintering and warping. No, you are going to have an amazing patio, pergola, deck, fence, gate, whatever they install for you, it will be top notch. If you have ideas, please bring it to them, or they do free project design, free in-home estimates, or feel free to stop by Chesterfield Fence and Deck's extensive showroom to really get an idea of all the things that they can do for you. You can also do financing with them, and if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Find them online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Illinois is mailing annual Medicaid renewals, which means that you need to make sure you stay covered.
Medicaid keeps me covered.
It keeps me covered too.
Staying covered with Medicaid means keeping yourself safe.
Keeping your loved ones and your family safe.
Everyone's due date is different.
So go to abe.illinois.gov to check your renewal date and update your address.
And stay covered.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
The Muni's epic 106th season begins June 17th. The summer includes Les Miserables, Dreamgirls, Disney's The Little Mermaid, Fiddler on the Roof, Waitress, In the Heights, and Anything Goes. See all 7 Broadway hits for as low as $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
The Muni in Forest Park.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's promo code GIFT.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores because life is too short for boring radio. Let the excitement begin.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Yes. Go on.
Ron, did you see this? This is Paul Ryan. You remember Paul Ryan?
I remember
former
Paul Ryan.
speaker. He was vice presidential candidate with Mitt Romney.
Yes.
He said this the other day, basically explaining that why he would not be voting for Donald Trump.
Character is too important to me. And it's a job that requires the kind of character that he just doesn't have. Having said that, I really disagree with Biden on policy. I wrote in a Republican the last time. I'm going to write in a Republican this time.
You're going to write in?
Yeah. I don't know who yet.
So he's saying, I'm going to write in a Republican.
He's kind of been doing this.
He disagrees with Biden.
Yeah, he's been very outspoken against Trump.
So in a very normal and totally not unhinged way, Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social last night at 2:30 a.m., Rupert Murdoch should fire pathetic rhino Paul Ryan from the board of Fox. Ryan is a loser, always has been, and always will be. He was the weakest and most incompetent Speaker of the House in its history. Fox will sink to the absolute bottom of the pack if Paul Ryan has anything to do with it. So anyway, totally normal one.
Well,
for the former president.
Aren't they normally?
Yeah.
Amy, did you see that? I love British slang. So I don't know which of these are actual dirty words. So I'm not going to say the ones I think are dirty words.
Yeah.
But there was a study that was done, and they are concerned. I don't know if concerned is the right word, but they believe some of the insults that British people use against each other are going by the wayside because younger people don't use them and don't know what they are. So words like lummox, bampot.
Wait, you know these are not bad?
I don't know. Ninny. Ninny is not a bad word.
We don't know that.
Drip. Do you think a toss pot is bad? This guy's a real toss pot.
I feel
I
like
don't know what that means.
probably is.
How about a toe rag? Numpty. Numpty is going away.
Wow.
And so is scallywag. So apparently younger British people don't use the word scallywag.
I always liked the word scallywag because it sounds so old-timey. I'm afraid now because you know how everything that you say that's old-timey, they're like, actually, it's got horrible history, terrible
connotation, right?
Connotation, and you don't know it. I hope that one's not bad.
How about nitwit?
I don't think that one's bad, isn't it?
No, you could say nitwit.
Yeah, I hope so. I just don't say anything anymore.
I love British slang.
It is way better.
It's the best. It is the absolute best.
I like saying the word jolly. Jolly good time.
Yeah, that one's not my favorite, but it's a pretty good one. Also, did you see? You probably did not see this, but you know who Wendell Pierce is? He's an actor. He was in The Wire, Suits. He was in Jack Ryan, that show that I believe is on Amazon Prime. Anyway, Wendell Pierce wanted to go to the Knicks game. And I love when people of celebrity or some kind of social status with a lot of followers, I love when they take out their customer service complaints on Twitter. I think and they tweet at the company. He's very upset with SeatGeek.
Really?
Because he bought tickets for a Knicks playoff game and they did not deliver the tickets until there were 6 minutes left in the third quarter. So he's tried calling customer service and he is upset because they are not getting back to him. So he tweeted at them and they tweeted back and said, "We will resolve your issue." And then he said, "I still haven't heard anything from you."
I love
it. I love it when celebrities do this.
Whoever sold him the seats was a real scallywag. I'll tell you that.
I think they were a lummox and maybe a nitwit or a ninny.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Colonel Jeff McCausland. We'll see if he knows any of these words when we come back on KMOX.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of $10 Gold Liberty coins from the late 1800s to early 1900s has been found. These gorgeous Gold Liberty coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available in any specific date. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a specific date Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These historic dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That's anywhere from 117 to 144 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-386-8018. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $50 value free with every order. Call 1-800-386-8018 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-386-8018.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-578-2415. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-578-2415 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-578-2415. To see if you qualify. That's 800-578-2415.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank and Building Community. This month, we're casting a light on RVCL, a rare genetic condition that is often or misdiagnosed. The Clayco Foundation is dedicated to developing meaningful treatments and finding a cure for RVCL and other rare diseases. You can help by learning more at rvcl.org. That's the initials rvcl.org. Together, we can build community.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. RVCL is a rare and often fatal genetic disease you've probably never heard of. Unfortunately, more patients are being identified with RVCL, but research is underway to find a cure. For rare diseases like RVCL, education is the first step to diagnosis. Please join Busey and learn more about RVCL at rvcl.org as we continue building the communities we call home.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got sunshine and 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, President Joe Biden has made his toughest statements yet on Israel's plans for military operations in Rafah.
Reporters asked President Biden for comment on the Israel-Hamas conflict as he arrived back at the White House Wednesday night.
Any update on the ceasefire talks?
Biden says he will not supply offensive weapons that Israel can use to launch an all-out assault on Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip, out of concern for more than the 1 million Palestinian civilians sheltering there. In a Wednesday interview with CNN, Biden says the U.S. is still committed to Israel's defense and will supply Iron Dome rocket interceptors and other defensive arms. But he says that if Israel goes into Rafah, quote, we're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells used, unquote. This follows his decision to pause a shipment of heavy bombs to Israel last week. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, in an interview with Israeli Channel 12 TV News, said the pause in shipments was a very disappointing decision, even frustrating, and suggested the move stemmed from political pressure on Biden from Congress, U.S. campus protests, and the upcoming election. Jennifer King, Washington.
Washington University is withholding at least one student's degree over her involvement in the recent pro-Palestinian protests. Valencia Alvarez says she received a letter from WashU saying saying she would not receive her degree while disciplinary action is pending. She was one of about 100 people arrested. At least 7 employees have been temporarily suspended for their involvement. Stormy Daniels has returned to the witness stand at Donald Trump's hush money trial for second day of questioning. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula.
The cross-examination of Stormy Daniels has been combative. A lawyer for former President Donald Trump asked Daniels about efforts to sell her story. She admitted she was trying to do that and said getting money for her story was important to her. Daniels said, quote, "I never asked for money from President Trump. I never asked for money from anyone in particular. I asked for money to tell my story."
An update on security upgrades for Metrolink as Bi-State Development Safety and Security Committee meets.
The committee's Kevin Scott called the Secure Platform Plan a very aggressive plan that includes entry gates, a new ticketing system, and new ticket validators that unlock the security gates.
As long as we don't face any significant abnormalities, and these are very complex projects, really 39 different projects in total, we still believe that we will reach our January 2026 substantial completion date.
It's broken down into 6 phases or packages. Package 1 includes the stops for Jackie Joyner Kersey, College, Emerson Park, and Washington Park, where new gating systems and security fencing are almost complete. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The rate of guns stolen from cars in the U.S. has tripled over the past decade, making that the largest source of stolen guns in the country. That's according to an analysis of FBI data by the gun safety group Everytown. Senior Research Director Sarah Bird Sharps.
The top 5 cities in terms of rate of guns stolen from cars are number 1, Memphis, Tennessee, number 2, Atlanta, Georgia, number 3, St. Louis, Missouri, number 4, Richmond, Virginia, and number 5, San Antonio, Texas.
The KMOX Business Desk, a new streaming partnership.
Walt Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery plan to jointly market their top video streaming services. Starting this summer, the companies will offer a bundle that includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. Subscribers will be able to choose either the ad-free or ad-supported versions of the services. The companies have not said how much the bundles will cost. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's up 174 points to 39,230. Well, if you're on 70 going east around Cave Springs, there is construction in the right lane, which, according to the camera view, is causing a bit of a backup as at least things are moving slowly on 70 at Cave Springs because of that. There's also a crash on 70 eastbound at Cave Springs Truman. That's got the center lane closed there, too. So both directions are having impacts in that area. People slowing down on the other side. Road work on 60 440 west of the Mississippi River. Right lane closed. Road work 70 east at the exit to Goodfellow. Left lane is closed there.
This afternoon will be breezy and quite nice with sunshine and some clouds. High 78, partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Perhaps a shower, though 53. For tomorrow, partly sunny and a bit cooler with a chance of a shower. High 71. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sunshine and 72 in Florissant, 71 St. Peter's, and 72 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Transforming airwaves into an engaging playground of ideas and entertainment. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah.
That was President Joe Biden last night making the announcement that the United States plans to withhold pending shipments of larger bombs, smaller bombs, artillery shells, as well as joint direct attack munitions, which makes dumb bombs smart. And to give us some more insight into what this could mean for Israel as they continue their fight against Hamas and as they continue to move forward into Rafah is Colonel Jeff McCausland, CBS National Security Consultant and former U.S. Army Colonel. Colonel McCausland, thank you for joining us this morning.
It's great to be with you.
Well, it seemed like some shocking news, a shift in policy from the president last night. What was your take?
Well, I wouldn't call it shift in policy. I would say translating words into policy. And the Biden administration has been pretty outspoken for many months now, cautioning the Israeli government against an offensive into Rafah for fear that this would cause massive civilian casualties. I mean, at this point, we have somewhere around 34,000 Palestinians have been killed since the fighting began in October. 78,000 have been injured. And we have a situation in Rafah with 1.3 million people packed into a city that before this war began only had 300,000. So the Biden administration's primary concern was about 3,500, 2,000, and 500-pound bombs that were scheduled to be delivered to Israel. That if those kind of ordnance were used in a very densely populated area like Rafah, which is also very small, the resulting civilian casualties would be massive. And as a consequence, that's why the president says he will not support that. And he said that for quite some time.
So can Israel, can they achieve their objectives without these particular munitions? Can they do what they want to do, even though they won't have these particular bombs?
Well, again, I don't have clear knowledge of their inventory, but I would imagine they've got sufficient weaponry to, in fact, to conduct this operation if they wish. They may well be concerned that it may cut into war stocks that they want to preserve for other contingencies that might come down the road. But I think it's more important than the symbol this shows in terms of a divide between the United States and Israel. Very close allies. The president has said support for Israel is ironclad. The president visited, of course, Israel at the start of this war back in October over this particular issue of conducting major combat operations against Rafah. Now, obviously, having done, as one official for the administration said, a shot across the bow, hopefully then this will result in the Israelis reconsidering that particular operation. And secondly, of course, I'm sure there's some hope in the Biden administration that absent this particular attack, there might be a better opportunity for the ceasefire negotiations, which are ongoing, to be successful.
Well, when you look at the task before Israel, fighting a terrorist organization that embeds in the civilian population, its leaders hide behind women and children and babies, how can Israel fight that terrorist organization without hurting civilians?
Well, it's a really tough task, particularly in that particular type of terrain, heavily urbanized, particularly with very dense population, all very, very true. It is trying to find some mechanism of doing that to strike a balance between a desire to destroy Hamas on the one hand, while at the same time trying to minimize collateral damage. And these were difficulties that we had as well in our operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, recall being outside Fallujah, for example, 250,000 people. Preparations were made to move the population out of the city before we conducted our assault. That is one thing that has been talked about. But so far, even though the Israelis have urged the aid workers, U.S. officials, State Department, OSD, White House, have said they've seen no real preparations by the Israelis to create corridors for people to leave the city safely and establish facilities, basic tents, water, food, basic medical supplies, so those refugees have a place to go, and then subsequently conduct an invasion if you deem that necessary.
Colonel McCausland, I think the underlying question for me, I'm wondering if it's even possible to completely eradicate Hamas, and if what the operations that they are conducting now, Israel is conducting now, if 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, will put them in a safer place. Do you think that everything they have done since October makes them safer?
No, quite frankly, no, because the use of military force is a means and not an end, Chris. And you put your finger on it. What's the future you're trying to shape? And the one thing the Israelis have been unable to do, as far as I'm concerned, is answer the basic question, and then what? What do you do the last day after the firing has concluded? What's the political end state? Who do you want to turn this over to? Because if you don't find a political partner, as we tried to do in Iraq and Afghanistan, then you're stuck with either continued violence or you're stuck with an occupation and putting 10 to 50,000 or more Israeli soldiers in there permanently to hold down what will be likely a very low-level insurgency. Sadly, the Israelis over the years, even prior to this war, had frequently used the phrase mowing the grass when talking about Gaza. And their basic argument in the military was every few years we're going to have a war with Hamas, we're going to beat them, drive them back into some level of peace for a period of time, knowing full well that 3 to 5 years later, that's going to happen again. With the level of violence we've seen in this conflict, the level of death, the level of destruction, alienating a substantial portion of the population, not only in Gaza, but in the West Bank and elsewhere, could, if not handled properly, put the Israelis in the position you're describing. And that is sort of perpetual war that will occur every few years on into the future.
Right. And Colonel McCausland, people have asked, and including, like you said, the United States, and then what? Israel doesn't have a plan. Israel doesn't have a plan for after this conflict. And I get that. However, you see what they're dealing with Hamas and all the attacks and, the early 2000s, the second intifada. We know Hezbollah is getting involved. We saw the largest drone attack from Iran. Nobody's telling Israel, well, this is how you defend yourself. Here's how you take out your enemies without hurting civilians. Like no one's offering up a plan with what Israel's supposed to do now.
Well, there is a plan, I think, that's still being talked about. Secretary of State Blinken was in Saudi Arabia recently, and I know this is still being discussed. And that plan, which was also being discussed prior to this war, was a grand bargain, whereby Saudi Arabia would normalize relations with Israel, as would other countries in the Middle East. That would cause enormous economic development all across the region. But in return, the Israelis were going to have to make some move in a direction of a political solution with respect to the Palestinians, some type of movement in the direction of a two-state solution, which the Netanyahu government has steadfastly been opposed to. And I think part of the problem here as well is Mr. Netanyahu sits on top of a very, very small coalition government. He is, to a large degree, controlled by some very right-wing members of other political parties to maintain that coalition in being. And they have no interest whatsoever in any type of a political solution that would involve any type of a two-state solution or any type of legitimacy for the Palestinians. In fact, many of them argue that the solution is to drive all the Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip and fill it full of Israeli settlers. And that's been the challenge. Can we, in fact, strike that major bargain with the Saudis, creating a broader interaction which has an economic benefit for all of us, but to pay the price, which is some acknowledgement of some kind of solution with respect to the Palestinians.
Colonel Jeff McCausland is with us on KMOX. And Colonel, wanted to get your opinion on what's happening in Ukraine. And Russia apparently is looking to ramp up their attacks. This while Ukraine is supposed to be getting aid from the United States. The agreement that was just made, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago now. Right. What sort of position is Ukraine in now? How much ground have they lost over these last several months, and what is the next step for them?
They've lost best I can tell, about 400 square kilometers since the onset of this particular calendar year. That's come at an enormous price for the Russians, who are conducting offensive operations around several cities, Chasiv Yar, Avdiivka, even around Kharkiv in southeastern Ukraine. British estimates now in intelligence services are the Russians have suffered up to 450,000 casualties, probably 90,000 or more killed in action since this war began, and dramatic losses in equipment, tanks, artillery, armored personnel carriers. But they certainly are conducting offensive operations right now, and the Ukrainians are on their back foot. To some degree, this is due to shortages of artillery, Russians firing up to 10 rounds for every round the Ukrainians can fire back, and a shortage of air defense weapons. So we've seen the Russians intensify their missile and air strikes against cities all across the Ukraine in an effort to destroy the electric power infrastructure, which has been ongoing. Now, resupply is arriving based on that military aid package you mentioned. Oh, by the way, the European Union announced just in the last couple of days they would start providing the profits from frozen Russian assets directly to the Ukraine, and that could be up to about $3.5 billion in the current calendar year in additional aid. But it's going to take some time for that aid to actually translate into military capability on the battlefield. So I think we're going to see the Russians continue to make some gains for the next few weeks before the Ukrainians can solidify that particular line. At the same time, of course, this is a big week. On the 7th of May, we have the inauguration of Mr. Putin for another term as president of Russian Federation. If he completes this term, he'll have led Russia longer than Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union. He'll been the leader of Russia for a longer period of time than any Russian leader since Catherine the Great. Mr. Putin shows no interest in any kind of negotiation except one whereby we and the Ukrainians would surrender. And I think he's waiting to see how the American election campaign ends in November, because he thinks his willpower in Ukraine is far superior to ours. And even today, of course, big day in Russia today. Today is Victory Day, the 9th of May, the celebration of the Russian victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. So they would have completed earlier today massive military parades, big speech by Putin calling for victory and an effort to rally the population behind his policies in a war in Ukraine.
Colonel McCausland, before we let you go, what do we know about Russia's military supply? Is it being depleted, and is it being restocked by a country like China?
Well, we know that they're suffering more and more shortages of their ability to resupply what we call major end items, tanks, artillery, armored personnel carriers. And there's some evidence of even World War II age vehicles being employed by the Russians. We know, furthermore, that they're gaining ammunition resupplies from the North Koreans, missiles and drones from Iran. President Xi of China, as we're talking, is traveling in Europe. He's been in France. He's been in Hungary. I think he's now in Serbia. In his stop in Paris, he was pressed on that by President Macron, that being the sale of military products to the Russians, as he was pressed by Secretary Blinken, who visited China shortly before Xi began this trip. Xi claims he will not provide military assistance to the Russians, but clearly there are so-called dual-capable technologies, think of semiconductors, spare parts, and the like, that are being transferred from China to Russia. And the Chinese still buy a substantial amount of Russian natural gas and oil at discounted prices to help prop up that Russian economy. Both Macron and Xi did, in fact, though, call for a ceasefire in Ukraine through the Olympic Games, which will start later this summer in Paris. Whether or not that can be effected remains unclear right now.
Colonel McCausland, we appreciate the expertise as always. Thank you for visiting with us today.
Take care.
CBS National Security Consultant, former U.S. Army Colonel Jeff McCausland with us on KMOX. I'm looking at Amy Mark's scores. I'm Chris Ranji. We have 2 pairs of tickets to give away today for Chelsea Handler, because yesterday we had a shortened show, and then it got real short because we went into storm mode right before our last segment, so we gave away no tickets. We didn't know that was going to happen, but storm mode happened.
It did.
And it cut us short. So 2 pairs of tickets to see Chelsea Handler October 26th at Stiefel Theater. We're going to give away at least one of those soon. We'll tell you when on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I had heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in, less than a week, the whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody could believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
The weekend. 2 whole days for you to sit back, relax, and clean some gutters. Ah, the joy of scooping up soggy, gunky, muddy sludge. And if you're really lucky, you may find your dog's old crusty tennis ball covered in leaves. Where did they all come from anyway? You don't even own a tree. Forget the weekends. Mo Money Mondays are here. New scratchers, new chances to win. Every last Monday of the month. Only from the Missouri Lottery.
Play responsibly.
The truth is, planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful, and things like record high inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, and the possibility of Social Security disappearing all feel like roadblocks to reaching that retirement finish line. All of these issues can have a major impact on your life savings. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Join the All Financial Group at Bishop's Post in Chesterfield on May 7th and May 9th, and they're going to do a presentation providing you with the tools, insight, and proven strategies that can help you make informed decisions about your financial future in retirement. Seating is limited and you must register to attend. Call 636-230-8824 or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services are available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
In the know, on the go. Trust KMOX for local news that impacts St. Louis and the region. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Ron, remember when you said that we are going to give away our first pair of Chelsea Handler tickets soon?
Right.
It's right now.
Oh, now?
It is right now.
Now soon.
You are not kidding.
Holy monkey. I didn't know we were doing it this quick.
I know. And listen, St. Louis County has still not been doing great because I thought we had St. Louis County the other day. It was Jefferson County.
Oh, Jeffco.
Yeah, they won the tickets. Good job. Then after that, it was Illinois. It was the Metro East again. So
They've
now,
been dominating the Metro East has.
Yeah.
Pretty much all year with tickets.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even
It's
close.
embarrassing, really, if you're in Missouri.
So right now, we're giving away the Chelsea Handler tickets.
One pair, because we have two pairs.
That's right. That's right. And what number caller should they be, Ron?
Oh, gosh. I think it should be caller number 9.
Whoa. Caller number 9.
Caller number 9.
314-955-1120. That is our contest line. Be caller number 9. And you can wear a pair of tickets to see Chelsea Handler at
Stiefel. She will be at Stiefel Theater October 26th. 314-955-1120.
It's hard to plan that far in advance. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I know you want to plan things an hour in advance. Hey, move the game up.
You would like to not plan
Change
things at all.
That's correct. I like people to tell me what we're doing. I don't like to make plans.
No. You like people to tell you what they're doing, and you like to pick your plan.
That's correct. You could not have said it any better.
I know.
I want
options.
Couldn't have said it any better.
And then at 7:08 p.m.,
Mhm.
he stretches and goes, maybe I'd like to do something. Let's see what my options are. Like he's picking insurance.
Dude.
And he scrolls through A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
He picks one and he goes. And then to the one he shows up at, he goes, of course, I told you I was coming. Why are you surprised?
It's the best. It is. I hate making plans. I hate deciding what we're doing. I hate it. So I like to, what are we doing? Where are you going? Who's coming?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get back to you. And then talk to these folks over here. What are you guys doing? Anything good going on? Oh, okay. Where are you going? Who'll be there? What time? I like to have 2 or 3 options
Yeah.
presented to me, and then I will choose one, and I will be there an hour after you said we should start.
Do you ever double book people? Meaning, you're going to go to one party because you like, I like this party. It's fine. It starts earlier, but a better party is later. So I'm going to start my night at this party and end at another.
Definitely.
So rude.
Definitely.
So rude for the first
I
party.
think I've done it
people.
to you.
Oh, you 100% have done it to
So
me.
if
But
you're
I go to bed early. So like even like my birthday party.
works out great.
It was, although
Works out perfect.
We were okay. But yeah, I go to bed early. So for me, I'm not the one you're hurting.
I love it. I love to go to one thing first. So here's what you should know. If you have a friend who's like me, the first place that friend goes is the one they don't want to go to the most.
That's exactly right.
They want to go to the other thing later more.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We know how this works. We're not.
But I
stupid.
love all of you equally.
Well, we don't love you as much. Good luck to everyone calling in, by the way.
Yeah, good luck. And be careful.
Be careful.
Who's coming up next?
Matt Pauley.
Oh, yeah. Let's give you the
KMOX
birds.
host. And we've got a question for him about domed baseball stadiums.
We'll give you the birds with Matt Pauley next on KMOX. It's Chris and Amy.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Fira Capital Management, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call Fira Capital Management today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Fira Capital Management, 314-328-4400. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Firm may not give tax advice.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home is being built? Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert, can do that for you. Here's a problem that many home sellers find themselves in. They want to sell their home, but where will they move? Plus, they need the funds from their current home to go purchase the next home. Well, Gloria gets it. And that's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which lets you sell your home, get the cash, and stay in that home for up to 12 months. Gloria Liu thinks of every dilemma a home seller goes through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program. Call 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
At 11:30, sunshine and 73 downtown at the Arch. TikTok is the latest big tech company to say it will start labeling AI-generated photos and videos posted to its platform. CBS News technology contributor Ian Scher.
The newest problem we're starting to see across social media is the question of whether or not something someone posts is real. A bunch of tech companies have already started requiring that people uploading stuff to their platforms identify when they've used AI. So this is a logical next step.
Government safety regulators say they have significant safety concerns about a Ford recall. Jeff Gilbert explains from Detroit.
The recall of 43,000 Escapes and Bronco Sports doesn't actually fix a gasoline leak. It just reroutes it away from sources of ignition. A more expensive alternative pushed by safety advocates would be to fully replace the fuel injectors. The government is asking Ford for data to prove its claims that the current recall plan will adequately protect owners.
A former Memphis police officer is charged with federal civil rights violations in the fatal shooting of a man while the officer was on duty.
Federal prosecutors say 32-year-old Patrick Ferguson was also indicted on charges of kidnapping and destroying evidence. In the January 2021 killing, Ferguson faces similar charges in state court. Prosecutors say Ferguson was on duty when he kidnapped a man and shot him in the head in his patrol car. They allege Ferguson worked with an accomplice to dispose of the man's body in a river. It's not clear what prompted the murder. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Still watching a one-vehicle crash on 70 going east at Cave Springs Truman. The center lane has been closed, and looking at the camera, 70 east at Cave Springs, I still see some flashing lights and a lot of cars that are not moving very quickly in that area. We've also got the right lane blocked of 70 east at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive with the MoDOT vehicle on the scene there. Some slow-moving road work on 64 west at the Mississippi River in the right lane, and 70 east at Goodfellow, the left lane closed there. And the forecast for this afternoon, sunshine, some clouds, high 78. Shower in spots tonight, low 53. For tomorrow, not as warm, stray shower, some sun, high 71. And for Saturday, a high of 75. Right now, sun 73 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Hi, I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Kevin Short with Clayton Capital Partners.
And we are the hosts of The Business of Family Business.
This week we have a great guest, Chris Hoffman with Hoffman Brothers Heating and Cooling and plumbing and everything else you need.
They are a company that is local, but they are growing by leaps and bounds. And Chris has some really interesting stories to tell.
I think you will learn a lot about the culture of small business and how to grow from $9.5 million to $140 million. It's a great story.
The Business of Family Business, Saturday at 2 here on KMOX.
I get asked a lot, what's the difference between the efficiency ratings and the numbers that customers hear while they're getting prices? Pretty much the difference is the numbers. As far as actual savings, there is a very easy common sense way to explain the differences in the energy ratings and the types of energy rating on the furnaces, what you can get and what you can't get, and what's best suited for you, what you actually do need or what you absolutely do not need. You'll be surprised and very happy that you called me. So call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. This is the only number that you need to call. 314-293-2600 or on the website Bart Inman. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
New and completely reimagined, the 1904 World's Fair exhibit at the Missouri History Museum re-examines this complex, fascinating event and its legacy, featuring a 3D printed scale model that offers a close-up look at the enormity of the attractions and fairgrounds. Experience a more complete picture of the progress and prejudice captured in this important moment in St. Louis history, now told from a wider spectrum of voices and perspectives. Info at mohistory.org.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Wilson Contreras.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
A 2-ball, 2-strike pitch for Lars Nootbaar. And he drives that to center field. Bader moving back, looking up. It's a goner. It's a 7-5 game now. Oh, that home run by Alonso in the top of the ninth.
Yo, Paulie!
Paulie's a great name. Watch your mouth, Paulie.
Yo, Paulie!
Listen, Paulie, you want to buy this car, you know?
Want me to get you beer, Paulie?
Come on, Paul, why don't you screw your head on right?
What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie, I was responsible.
And this is coming straight from the heart, Paulie.
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Matt Pauley, it's our sports fella. And he's with us. The Cardinals Report is brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated Renner Door, STL.com. Matt Pauley joins us now. He got an off day yesterday. I don't want to hear him tell me how much he worked because he didn't. He was off yesterday because the Cardinals were rained out. How's it going, Matt?
It was not an off day.
Don't you wish now that there was a roof on that building?
When I was in Milwaukee, I loved the roof. I'm not gonna
right
mince words on
right?
that. But the Cardinals playing in an indoor ballpark. And here's the thing: if it's retractable, like there's no way you go to Busch Stadium and you see the backdrop of St. Louis and the arch and everything. Like, there's no way to design that where it can look like that when it's open, yet still also have a roof on top of it. So while I love the roof in Milwaukee, I don't think I would love a roof here.
That's bad opinion.
Thank you. No, a roof here would be stupid.
It'd be great.
It would be sacrilegious.
No rainouts. We would have had a ball game yesterday.
You know what?
When it's
Stop
100
jamming the schedule.
When it's 150 degrees in August with 140% humidity, that roof can be closed. Oh, AC.
No,
They
you know what?
didn't in Milwaukee. They don't actually have. You can't cool it. They have heating system, but they don't have
What?
a cooling system.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
So it's like a convection oven when the roof is closed.
Oh, it's horrible when it's
Oh.
That's
when it's 100
stupid.
plus outside and humid, and then the rain starts to come down, so you got to close the roof. It is the worst thing.
Why would they not have
Oh.
an air conditioning system?
I don't know.
What?
Money.
That doesn't,
Money.
that doesn't
Money.
make any sense. Even Minnesota had that. At the Metrodome.
Really?
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds awful, and it sounds sacrilegious. And the real problem here is that baseball wants to play 162 games. There are too many games.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there are way too many games.
One of the beautiful things about baseball is you have to be good. You have to build your team to like win at the beginning of the season, but also win at the end of the season. Where part of the greatness of the 162 games is you have to have a roster and you have to have a group that's built to be able to make it through the grind that is 162 games.
No.
That's why when you get 50 games in the season, there's going to be teams that are in playoff position or in first place in the division, but they're just not built to sustain through 162 games. It is beautiful that it's 162
No,
games.
baseball should have learned its lesson from Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran is always like, more raisins, now more raisins. There are too many
Too
raisins.
many raisins.
And your mouth gets tired. It's like,
Yep.
there's just
Gosh,
too
it's
many
work.
raisins.
You're right.
At some point, it's too many raisins.
Too
It
many.
ruins the fun of Raisin Bran.
Way too many.
Baseball needs to remember the brand. It's not all about raisins. All right. It was
Okay,
good talking to you,
Good
Matt.
talking to you, Matt. All right.
I got nothing.
Oh, we can tell.
How were
I
we
made this
supposed to know that
wonderful
from
plea.
the silence?
Oh, I make this wonderful plea of how beautiful the game of baseball
And
is.
Amy's,
Come back with
Amy's
raisins.
response is nope. I love that so
Baseball
much.
is beautiful, but
It's just too much.
It's too much. It's like too many raisins. It's all raisins. You're like, oh my gosh, give me a break.
Tell you what, though, this pitch clock, hell yes.
Yes,
Hell yes,
all
it's
in.
so good. So good. It's made the game a million times better.
I agree. 100%.
Here's how you know they have too many
And,
games.
a game lasts 2 hours and 55 minutes. You're like, oh my gosh, that was a long
That's
game.
a long game,
The season
right?
is 5 months long, and there are so many games that if you have a rain out, here's us. Gosh, we're not gonna have time to fit in this game before September, even with the pitch clock, Bob. Yes, even with the pitch clock, because 2.5 hours, you still can't fit that in. There are too many games. If you can't fit in an extra game before September without it really screwing someone over, you have too many games.
Amy, baseball is an everyday sport. That's why.
Well,
Okay.
what about every day with like an off day in there at
Yeah.
some point in the week?
Get rid of,
every week.
Get rid of 10 games. How much easier would life be with
Go back to 154.
Exactly. 8 games. Get rid of 8 games.
Amy, when did baseball have 154 games?
1923.
Like you use this raisin bread thing because they keep putting more raisins in. When was
Keep
the
it to
last
2
time baseball
scoops.
added
They
games that
should
you
have
are aware?
stopped with 2 scoops.
2 scoops is plenty of scoops.
Plenty of scoops.
How many scoops are there of raisins?
Two.
Too many.
Well, now there's 5.
Now there's a million. It's all about the scoops.
It's just a box of raisins now with a couple of flakes.
And the prize inside is a bran flake.
That's
Who
right.
actually likes raisins though?
I love Raisin Bran.
You love raisins?
Yeah, I like
Not
that
anymore.
cereal.
Too many raisins.
Too many raisins.
I like the yogurt covered raisins.
Not
Those are
bad.
good.
Not
It's
bad,
just
Matt.
off-putting when your cereal is chewier than it is crunchy.
Hey, Matt, you want to talk about this series against the Milwaukee Brewers? Did you go up there or no?
No, I am in St. Louis.
Okay. So Milwaukee tonight, a team that is leading the division or near the top of it and has been for pretty much most of the season, and the Cardinals go in struggling. So what is your preview of this series?
It's a big series, very big series. The Cardinals got to find a way to get going. I think there's an opportunity here if this is the big if the Cardinals are going to get themselves on the right track before all is said and done. the possibility of that happening in this series does somewhat exist because Brewers pitching is not very good, especially beyond, Freddie Peralta is their top starter. I guess Colin Ray is probably their second starter. So this is nothing against Colin Ray. He's having a nice season. But when Colin Ray is your second best pitcher, that means you probably don't have that great of a rotation. So, but the Cardinals have faced some not so great pitching and haven't had success against it. So it's probably more about the Cardinals than it is about the Brewers. But if, in that last game, even though when the Cardinals lost on Tuesday, when they had like the 5 runs, I think on 14 hits, it seemed a little bit better offensively. If that's the start of something offensively for this club, and Lord knows if it is or not, at least they're going to be facing off against a team that might give them the opportunity to see some pitching that they can hit.
Well, it's going to be tougher to get that offense now that their most productive player offensively is out for the next up to 2 months. It'll be 6 to 8 weeks for Wilson Contreras because of the broken arm. What is your take on that entire thing? Because they have him up in the catcher's box. They want to get the low strike. That's the intent of it. JD Martinez, he stands back in the box as a lot of hitters do and ended up making contact with the forearm. So it's on Wilson Contreras there. He's got to be more mindful of where the hitter is and where the swing plane is going to be. But is the injury I say it's his fault primarily. Is it partly not his fault too? How do you see that whole thing?
Yeah, I think there's culpability on both sides. It's a perfect storm because I think Martinez his back foot was a little bit out of the box. Now that's something that's never enforced. Technically, it's a rule that you're supposed to be in there, but I don't know if I've ever seen an umpire say, "Hey, get that back foot up a step."
Yeah, me neither.
It just doesn't happen. So it's an unenforced rule on how deep the batter can be, and then it is up to the catcher to be far enough back that you're not going to be hit by the bat. I've never seen a bat hit somebody in the forearm like that. You see him hit glove, but I've never seen forearm. So that's pretty remarkable. And Kevin Wheeler said this, so I kind of steal this from him, but I think he's right. When you think about 1 million pitches or so per season in Major League Baseball, you've never seen somebody get hit in the forearm. So this is a really fluky thing that almost never happens. Now, catcher's interference does happen.
The glove all the time,
but the forearm thing, that's the unique part of this. I liked what Miles Michaelis had to say the other night, though, that maybe you place a line in the box where the catcher is, and the catcher has to be positioned behind that line. At the same time, you enforce where the hitter has to be. And that fixes the issue just like that. It also gives the umpires a better chance to make the right call, because what catchers are trying to do is steal strikes by catching the ball a little bit sooner and kind of bringing it up. So if there was more rules about where everybody has to be, it would give the umpires a better chance to make the correct calls.
Yeah, my problem with umpires, one of them, is that it seems to me they get lazy as the season goes on in terms of not telling a hitter, hey, you're out of the box, move up a little bit, or maybe calling balks or not calling them, being subjective as to when they do it. I don't think they're consistent on small things like that.
I would agree. Yeah. And I think different umpires worry about different things.
Hey, Buffalo Justin texts into the show, wants to know if he's wrong in thinking Jordan Walker might be overrated.
He's probably wrong, because it's too early to say. This is still a super young guy, and what's going on with him, the whole up and down thing, and that happens to a lot of guys who go on to have a really good career. Sometimes it takes years, sometimes 2-3 years. So it's way too early to say that. He is not turned into this prospect that gets to the big leagues and just everything comes naturally to him and it's easy, but that doesn't happen to many people at all. So I still believe in Walker. He's got a lot of work to do.
Matt Pauley got the pregame show tonight, 5:45. First pitch is at 6:40. Cardinals against the Brewers up in Milwaukee. First of a 4-game series. Matthew, thank you for your time today.
You bet. Thank you.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
Matt Pauley. Matt Pauley, he's got that pregame show. He's very good. Oh, hey, congratulations to Jerry in Trenton, Illinois.
Illinois does it again.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's always Illinois.
Oh my gosh, it is. That was the voice of John Hancock. He returns from England and joins us tomorrow in
He'll be
his
back.
usual spot with Hancock and Kelly.
What if he located that ear nibbler, that guy?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Probably
You know
not.
what I'm talking about?
I do.
What I saw no follow-up to that story after the police in England were looking
I
for
also
him.
saw no follow-up, but I myself did not follow up to look for the follow-up.
I did, and
Did
there was
you?
nothing. So
You know
if
why? Well, maybe because it was a child. They're trying to,
Well,
there's
his
certain rules.
image was already out there.
I know. But maybe, I don't know if they can't continue
So
to
if-
contribute to it. I'm not sure.
Just in case you're not sure what we're talking
Oh,
about,
yeah.
there was at one of the snooker
tournaments. This was
matches.
and
This
it
was before John
yeah,
got there.
Yeah.
There's video. They're interviewing somebody in the
Mm.
snooker world, and there's a crowd behind this person, and this adult man has probably a 12 or 13-year-old boy. I don't
just
know.
a young,
11,
young
12-year-old. And he's nibbling the kid's ear. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the video was sent to police, local police there, and they said, yeah, we're looking into it.
Ugh.
So don't know what happened after that. Hopefully that dude is locked up or something, because that is some weird stuff, man. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, we will be back with you in a moment. Congratulations to Jerry in Trenton, Illinois. He's going to see Chelsea Handler in October. And we still have another pair of tickets to give away before the show's over today on KMOX.
Cardinal Cowboy here for Renner Garage Door, serving St. Louis and surrounding areas since 1966. We does all applications, the garage door and LiftMaster openers. RENNER, forward and back. Renner Door STL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic. Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
There's a new addition to the Audiology Center. Charlie Brennan here, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler.
We are so excited to be welcoming Dr. Adam Voss to the Audiology Center. He went to SLU High School, and then he went on to University of Missouri in Columbia, where he earned his undergraduate degree, and then Washington University School of Medicine, where he earned his doctorate in audiology. He's been practicing as a clinical audiologist for the last 7 years, and we look forward to bringing him on to the Audiology Center. Outside of audiology, he enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 daughters, and he loves golfing, playing music, or cycling. Dr. Voss is an expert in hearing aid technology, custom hearing protection, and oral rehabilitation.
And so now it's Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Gilbert Fahn, and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. 636-441-7470 in Florissant, St. Peters, and Creve Coeur, and the Audiology Center, STL.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You'd just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high, or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity, and you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high, and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Truehold.com.
Do you limp out of bed with a sharp pain in your heel? Maybe it feels better when you start walking, but then bam, feels crippling when you get up from sitting again. That could be plantar fasciitis. This is Debbie Monterey. Take my advice and seek out the doctors at Feet for Life Podiatry for their decades of expertise with heel pain. Their advanced non-invasive procedures offer quick recovery times so you can enjoy your summer pain-free. Visit feetforlife.com for an appointment or ask for a virtual visit if you're out of state. Feetforlife.com.
Your passport into a world of wit and wisdom and a splash of humor. Chris and Amy on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey, we have texters
Yeah.
of just varying opinions, and that's why we love the
Okay.
text line
We
at
do.
314-436-7900. One texter says, I love all the raisins in Raisin Bran. And the very next, it's Raisin Bran, by the way. I love all the raisins in Raisin Bran.
Mhm.
And the very next text says, F raisins. So
Wow.
all sorts of people on the spectrum,
Listen to
political
our show.
spectrum.
Listen
So-
to our show.
And maybe that spectrum too. You never really know. So remember the story from Greg Doyle, who is the
Yep.
Indianapolis Star columnist, and he's been there for a very long time. Caitlin Clark is a member of the Indiana Fever, the WNBA team, and her first press conference after being drafted by the Fever, this exchange happened.
Caitlin, Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like
Yeah,
that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so
Okay,
it's
well,
pretty
let's
cool.
start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So,
Ugh, okay.
Ugh.
So just a very weird exchange.
That and the thing that he was doing was the heart with her hands. She makes the heart like Taylor Swift does it. You
Yeah.
put your fingers together, you make a
Yeah.
heart. She'll make a heart to her family. She's on the court, they're in the stands, and that's what she does.
Just a very strange interaction.
Ugh.
I don't know what his intent was there, but he apologized for it. People were all over him anyway because it was just a weird
Yeah.
thing to do. Anyway, he will not be allowed. This is the follow-up to that
Mhm.
story. It was announced this week that he will not be allowed to cover Indiana Fever games. And he
He's-
was also suspended for a couple of weeks as well. So
Yeah.
I guess that's appropriate, right? You
Yeah.
probably shouldn't allow him to do that.
Being
It just-
suspended for a couple of weeks, not being allowed to cover the Indiana Fever. I don't know if that's forever or just for this season. I think it depends. Was this the first time that this guy, he was something of a veteran reporter, right?
he's been around a long
Yeah.
time.
Was it the first time he's done anything like this? If so, one, I'm just shocked. It was so stupid. So stupid. You don't understand. It is not a familiar environment where the reporters are teasing the players or
Yeah.
flirting with the players. My goodness, I knew of a reporter who got kicked out of press conferences because he wore a baseball cap, and you're not allowed to wear baseball caps for some organizations. So you would never, ever accidentally be flirtatious. That blows my mind that he would have that lapse in judgment. If this was the first time ever, maybe he's suspended for the year. If it's multiple infractions and he has a background of doing this, then
See,
maybe
I don't
that's
know.
it.
He said in one of his apologies, he wrote an apology column that he's been awkward with athletes in the past.
Apology
men-
column in quotations.
Yeah, male He did say, I'm sorry, and I blew it, and he was pretty upfront about that. And he says, and I don't know personally because I've never seen these interactions, but he says he has awkward interactions because he's an awkward person.
I like that you're here. I like.
Oh,
Then if you know you're awkward, don't try to make a joke. Just ask your question. The players don't want to be your friend. The players don't care about you. You're a job. You're a necessary evil where they have to answer questions. Like, just being honest. So just be professional. Don't try to be too friendly.
It was very strange. So anyway, the paper says he doesn't get to cover those games. We'll see how long that lasts. But that is the resolution to that story. Amy Marxkors and Chris Ranji. When we come back, a lot of bills have been signed by the governor of the state of Missouri, and Missouri's chief Capitol reporter for Fox 2, Emily Manley, will be with us next on KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of $10 Gold Liberty coins from the late 1800s to early 1900s has been found. These gorgeous Gold Liberty coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available in any specific date. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a specific date Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These historic dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That's anywhere from 117 to 144 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-574-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $50 value free with every order. Call 1-800-574-6468 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-574-6468.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Whatever electrical needs you have, repair, service, replacement, call on Reinhold Electric. A live person will answer the phone call and they'll set you up with an electrician. If you need an estimate, absolutely free from Reinhold Electric, you will actually talk to a live estimator. No job is too big or too small for Reinhold Electric. Reinhold Electric, for all your electrical needs in residential, commercial, and industrial, call 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you, why pay more than $4? In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than $4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got sunshine and 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, the White House is defending its decision to pause the shipments of some weapons to Israel. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
The National Security Council's John Kirby says President Biden has repeatedly communicated his opposition to a Rafah offensive to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
We're going to keep working with them on our part to develop alternative approaches that we think will have a better chance of strategic success. a better chance at eliminating the threat that the Israeli people still face from Hamas.
In the meantime, Kirby says the U.S. continues to provide Israel with defensive weapons.
The arguments that somehow we're walking away from Israel fly in the face of the facts.
Republicans insist the pause in shipments could harm Israel.
Adult film star Stormy Daniels is back on the witness stand today at the New York criminal trial of former President Donald Trump. Details from CBS's Errol Barnett, who is covering the trial.
Donald Trump's defense team continued their cross-examination of Stormy Daniels with a simple and clear goal: to undermine the credibility of her testimony and for the jury to question why she came forward with what Trump's team says is a false story of a sexual encounter and why she entered into a financial agreement before the 2016 election.
Trump is accused of falsifying business records to conceal as a legal expense a payment to Daniels that the state contends is a campaign expense. Gun safety advocates are calling it alarming.
The rate of guns stolen from cars in the U.S. has tripled over the last 10 years, making them the largest source of stolen guns in the country. That's according to an analysis of FBI data by the gun safety group Everytown. Sarah Bird Sharps is the group's senior research director.
Every gun that's stolen from a car goes from the legal market to the illegal market, and too many of those guns are then used in a crime.
Everytown analyzed FBI data from nearly 400 cities in 44 states. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
While his team works to find Kim Gardner, the Missouri State Auditor says his team is wrapping up a preliminary investigation into the St. Louis City Jail.
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick began his investigation back in October after receiving letters from the jail's oversight board and State Senator Steve Roberts. Fitzpatrick says they're wrapping up that investigation and writing their report.
The investigative report is in the process of being drafted for my review, and at that point, that information will become public.
The auditor says he anticipates the report being public in the next several weeks. He said the report will be, quote, lengthy. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk, a home sharing decline.
Airbnb shares were set to slide by the most in a year after the home rental company gave lackluster guidance for a second straight quarter. It could mean that growth in travel spending will slow ahead of the peak summer season. Airbnb blames the earlier timing of the 2024 Easter holiday, as well as currency headwinds for the decline. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's up 225 points to 39,282. Good news, taking a look at the camera 70 East at Cave Springs, and things look to be moving pretty swiftly there.
Sunshine, some clouds, breezy and quite nice this afternoon with a high in the upper 70s. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight with a risk of a shower, though 53. Partly sunny and a bit cooler tomorrow. Chance of a shower, high 71. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sunshine, 73 in Florissant, 72 St. Peters, and 74 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Call Jerry Kelly at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. and we'll get there fast. There's a reason Jerry Kelly has been your neighbor's favorite heating and cooling company for nearly 2 decades.
JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Making radio waves more interesting. The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you on a Thursday, and it was a busy day for Governor Parson yesterday as he signed a couple of bills, one involving education, another Planned Parenthood. Also, the state legislature is busy. Some arguments per usual. To give us the update on Jefferson City is the Missouri Chief Capitol Reporter for Fox 2, Emily Manley. Emily, how are you today?
So far, so good. It's only noon, and we have a lot to go here still in Jefferson City. So ask me in about 12 hours from now.
Okay, perfect. We'll mark it down. No, thank you for taking time out of your day. Let's start with the bill Governor Parson signed yesterday. That is a $468 million education bill. It boosts teachers' pay. It expands charters, among other things. What should we know about it?
That bill has so many provisions in it. I could talk about it for the next 2 hours, and I still might not be all the way done. And it is truly an education package. And this has been something that Republicans have been working on for years. But even Democrats got behind it and supported it this year because of the money that is now going to the education formula and the system as a whole. So I'm just going to pull out some of the most important things. First off, I want to talk about one reason why a lot of schools in mid-Missouri are against it is because it's expanding charter schools. So there will now be allowed to have charter schools in Boone County in the Columbia area. We already have them in St. Louis and Kansas City, but that's it so far. So that's a big opposition for many schools here in mid-Missouri. Now let's break it down a little bit more. This is increasing teacher pay statutorily. And I know that's a little bit of a big word. What that means is that in state law, it will be required by school districts to increase pay to $40,000 for minimum teacher pay. That has been something that has not been done in state law since, I believe, the 90s, and it was set at $25,000. So it's increasing it to $40,000. Something else that I want to talk about is 4-day school weeks. I know we have a couple of school districts in the St. Louis area kind of dancing with this idea of moving to a shortened week. And within this bill, if they do decide that, you know what, the school board votes that they want to move to a 4-day week, now they have to take that question to the voters. If you have a school district that is in a county or a city that is 30,000 people or more, which is most of the ones that are considering it in St. Louis, they have to ask the vote of the people before moving to that shortened week. They can't just decide at the school board level anymore. But if they decide to stay at a 5-day week, they're going to get a 2% funding increase from the state. And the reason is because we've seen so many schools switch to this shortened week because, you know, they're using it as a perk to hire and retain teachers. Finally, I want to say that it also increases the amount of tax credits that can go and be used for ESAs, which is the Empowerment Scholarships Account Program. And what that really means is if you or I decide that we want to donate money to this scholarship program, we're going to get a tax cut. And then one of these, whatever student wants to apply, as long as you are in a household of about $160,000 or less, then you can apply for one of these scholarships. And if you decide you want to go to a private school using this money, you totally can. I'm serious when I say I could go on about this for 2 hours, but those are kind of the big ones that I wanted to get out there.
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of debate about this because some of the opponents of the bill don't like the voucher part of this.
Yes, the ESA.
Yes, and so there's been debate because I've heard people who are Republicans say, well, this isn't a voucher thing, but Andrew Koenig back in January, he called it a voucher when he was presenting it in committee. So he used the word voucher when talking about it. So what actually is it, and why is there opposition to it?
Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. And that's what I mentioned there at the end. These empowerment scholarship accounts, better known as ESAs, they're called vouchers by a lot of people. And it is really confusing and hard to understand. And it's really the only reason why Democrats voted against the bill, especially in the Senate. They'll tell you that they did it because they are against vouchers. And as I was saying, it's something where you or I, if we decided that we wanted to make a donation to this scholarship program, you know, we would get a tax credit for it. Well, then any student that comes from a household of less than $160,000, they would get to apply for this scholarship and use it whether they want to pay for books, whether they want to go to a private school. That scholarship now goes to them. So they grew this program with the amount of tax credits being allowed. Earlier, you know, this is a program that passed a couple of years ago, and they only allowed up to $50,000 worth of tax credits. So once Missourians donated to this fund for tax credits, once it got at $50,000, it was done. They increased it, and now there's going to be more students that can apply for these ESAs or vouchers, however you want to use the word, and then they can use it to go to private schools, which is a reason why many Democrats are concerned that it will eventually just weed out the public schools in Missouri.
Right. And that gets down to the heart of the debate with school choice, the kind of an ongoing debate that we're having in Washington with teachers, with parents, and with schools. Moving on to the bill that would ban Planned Parenthood from getting Medicaid money or Medicaid funding in the state of Missouri. What do we know about that?
Yeah, the governor signed that just a couple of hours ago, and that has been a big fight this session. You know, there are some Republicans, better known as the Freedom Caucus, that wanted that bill signed day one. They wanted that bill to the governor's desk. They wanted it to be the first thing that he signed. And what it does here is it simply says that abortion affiliates and their providers cannot receive Medicaid funding from the state anymore, which means if you're a Medicaid patient and you go to Planned Parenthood, Medicaid is not going to reimburse Planned Parenthood for your visit. And it was really aimed at just Planned Parenthood. Even though abortion is illegal in the state of Missouri, there were Republicans that said, well, guess what? Planned Parenthood also exists in Kansas and Illinois where abortions are legal. And so any money that we are giving to this organization, they can use it for abortions in other states. This has been a very, very heated debate among party lines, as you can imagine, because we have Democrats saying, guess what? This is taking away health care. And we have Republicans saying, we support life. We are a pro-life state, and that's what this is going to be. The governor did sign that bill today. I want to mention, though, quickly, because this is another kind of confusing topic here. And the reason for that is because the Supreme Court of Missouri has ruled twice that lawmakers cannot withhold Medicaid funding from Planned Parenthood within the budget. So how this is all different is lawmakers passed a standalone bill saying, guess what? We're defunding Planned Parenthood, but it's its own language. It's not within the budget. I have heard that there is a good chance that we're going to see lawsuits about this once again. And if we do, we'll see if the Supreme Court says that they can do it this way. But the biggest difference is in past, they've done it through the budget process. This time it's its own standalone language. Governor signing it today into law.
Emily, because this is state money, is that why, or does it apply at all with the Hyde Amendment? How does this correlate to the Hyde Amendment?
You know, it's one of those things that has kind of been not debated as much or brought up as much as I thought it would, because, you know, you do have Medicaid funding that comes from the federal government as well. It's not just necessarily all state money. And, you know, there is something within the Hyde Amendment that Medicaid funding cannot pay for abortions. With abortions already being illegal in the state of Missouri, that was kind of the way around it. But that has been something that has not really been discussed as much as I thought it would, Amy, for that, you know, that Hyde Amendment being there. But we do know that it'll be interesting, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's somehow used in court at a later date.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the purpose of that is when they've already got what they wanted, which is abortions aren't legal here and Planned Parenthood can't do it in this state. So what's the point?
I want to say, Chris, to add to that, you have to remember that last week, it was just last Friday, we saw 380,000 signatures delivered to the state Secretary of State's office to put abortion on the ballot later this year. And I've been talking with some Planned Parenthood supporters who say, you know what? At this point, we're just going to wait and see what Missourians want to do later this year. And because of the amount of signatures that they turned in, it's very, very, very likely that voters are going to get a say to see if they should overturn the state's abortion ban in November.
Also want to ask you about the border bill, because he has signed a bill that Missouri sending National Guard troops to the Texas border. What exactly does that entail?
So all that does within that bill, it's a budget bill necessarily. And all it does is it has money in it. It has about $2 million. So the state can send Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers, up to about 22 of them, and then Missouri National Guard soldiers, a couple hundred of them, down to the southern border. This was a decision Governor Mike Parson made a couple of months ago, once he went down to the border to meet with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. And they decided, you know what, we need more help here in Texas. And this is another heated topic in between states that are red and blue. And with Missouri being a red state, Governor Mike Parson said, you know what, we need to send some troops down. But how it works in Missouri is we need some extra money in case there is a disaster here at home. So when Governor Mike Parson said that our troops were going down, there was money already in the state coffers for the troops to go down. Heaven forbid, and knock on wood, that there's not a tornado that's, horrible, or a flood or a fire. That $2 million that Governor Mike Parson signed yesterday, it was honestly just to put more money in the state coffers to make sure that if there is a disaster here in Missouri, we are prepared since troops are down at the border. Governor Mike Parson, though, did say this morning that he doesn't expect troops to be at the border for too much longer. That was his word, that he hopes that they are back home soon.
Before we let you go, another bill. Now, this is a bipartisan bill filed by Senator Holly Thompson Rader and also Senator Lauren Arthur that would prohibit child marriages across the board in Missouri. And it's being held up by a few Republicans with pushback. Can you explain that? Because we do know that even Senator Rader had said she really was not expecting pushback on a bill that would outlaw child marriages.
I'm not going to lie. This one actually surprised me too, as somebody that works in this building, and how much support I've actually heard about this bill. For those that are wondering at home, what this bill actually does is right now in Missouri, 16 and 17-year-olds are allowed to get married to anyone under the age of 21. What this bill would do is it would prohibit anyone from under the age of 18 from being allowed to get married and receiving a marriage license within the state of Missouri. And Senator Holly Thompson Rader, who's a Republican from Sikeston, Missouri, who actually has a personal experience. She was married at the age of 15, and she has said, this is something that we have to get done because our human trafficking, our sex trafficking here in Missouri is so high because of child marriage. And this bill passed in the Senate with flying colors. There was only one no vote, and it gets over to the House and everybody thinks this bill is moving. And then all of a sudden you have a handful of Republican men that say, we don't support this. If they want to get married at the age of 16, they want to get married at the age of 17, they need to be able to do that. The government should not be able to interfere. And literally next Friday is the last day of session. I don't know if we see this get across the finish line. But I think that bill and the amount of pushback it's had within the past 48 hours has really shocked a lot of us, that they can't even get it out of committee because members that are sitting on that committee to vote that bill out over on the House side said, guess what? We're not going to let the government interfere if people want to get married. But the people that you do have supporting this bill say, we need to bring our sex trafficking and human trafficking numbers down in the state of Missouri, because Missouri is one of the top states in the country with the highest number of trafficking that is happening. And Holly Thompson Rader did say, guess what? It's because of our child marriage laws. So I don't know if that one makes it across the finish line, but I will tell you personally, I was quite shocked at the amount of pushback it got in the House when we heard of all this support, why it was on the other side of the building in the Senate.
I feel like I'm not shocked at all. I'm not that there are that many people who are pushing back against this.
These Republicans, I'm guessing, don't want the government get involved in who can get married, like unless you're gay.
Just as
a hypothetical.
It's pick and choose.
Is it pick and choose?
Whatever's good for
These
you.
are children.
Yeah.
You're 16 years old. It's going to be abused.
Right. Whatever's good for you. Yeah, sure. Anyway,
okay.
It's
great
interesting.
stuff.
We have 6 days left, and we'll see what happens.
Emily Manley, you are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Missouri
Thank
Chief
you.
Capitol Reporter for Fox 2. It is Emily Manley. I'm not stunned at all that there are that many weirdos in this state.
Well, I'm just glad that it passed with flying colors in the Senate. And I'm glad that there was a ton of support in the House. I'm glad it was I'd rather have a handful of weirdos, as weird as it sounds. If it's going to be held up, I want it to be held up by a handful of
Instead
weirdos
of half?
Yes, instead of half. That would be way worse.
I think I'm more surprised that isn't half.
Oh.
Anyway, that's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Emily Manley she's just the best.
She's on it. Wow.
We have 2 more tickets to give away to see Chelsea Handler. Soon-ish. She's at Stiefel Theater October 26th. You got to listen for your chance to win, you bozos. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
Medicaid keeps me covered. It keeps me covered.
It keeps me covered too.
Illinois is mailing annual Medicaid renewals, which means that you need to make sure you stay covered.
Staying covered with Medicaid means keeping yourself safe.
Keeping your loved ones and your family safe.
Everyone's due date is different.
So go to abe.illinois.gov to check your renewal date and update your address.
And stay covered.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
We have over $34 trillion in national debt. Where do you think the money to pay for that is going to come from? Taxes. Believe it or not, taxes are at historic lows right now, but how much longer will that last? A Roth IRA conversion might be a good option when planning for your retirement because you can pay lower taxes now and avoid potentially higher taxes later. The FIRA Capital Management Team, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, have seen taxes rise and fall. They know what options you have to potentially reduce the amount of taxes you pay in retirement. Call the team at FIRA Capital Management and schedule your tax analysis today. 314-328-4400. Uncle Sam needs money. Don't let him take it all from you. 314-328-4400. Investing involves risk. Always consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding a Roth conversion, as there may be additional tax considerations. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
From city lights to neighborhood stories, KMOX's local newsroom keeps you informed. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Let's run it back. For a limited time, go back in time with Chris and Amy.
Let's go, baby. Today, we talked to Major Garrett for the first time in like 8 months.
I know. He's doing great.
I really did miss Major Garrett, but he's with us every Thursday at 10:30. Today, we talked about President Biden's decision to not send certain munitions to Israel.
I don't see it as the United States pulling away from Israel. And considering all the vast array of options available to the president in terms of limiting access to military ammunition or gear or equipment or methods by which Israel can defend itself or act offensively, this is a very small portion of a very broad portfolio of weapons, weapon systems, ammunition, and the like. And it will not stop Israel from doing things. offensively, and it will not in any way, shape, or form inhibit Israel from defending itself.
So those who have been critical of Israel have done so because they believe too many civilian casualties have happened in this process going back to October. We also spoke to Colonel Jeff McCausland about the civilian deaths.
It's a really tough task, particularly in that particular type of terrain, heavily urbanized, particularly with very dense population, all very, very true. It is trying to find some mechanism of doing that to strike a balance between a desire to destroy Hamas on the one hand, while at the same time trying to minimize collateral damage. But so far, even though the Israelis have urged the population, in some cases, to move out of the city, aid workers, U.S. officials, State Department, OSD, White House have said they've seen no real preparations by the Israelis to create corridors for people to leave the city safely and establish facilities, basic tents, water, food, basic medical supplies, so those refugees have a place to go.
So great information from Colonel McCausland as always, and Major Garrett as well.
That's right. I
thought you had a thing.
Since we
don't have much time
We
here.
don't have much time here.
One last thing, just to reiterate, Emily Manley joined us a few moments ago talking about the new bill signed by Governor Parson raising teacher pay.
Now let's break it down a little bit more. This is increasing teacher pay statutorily. And I know that's a little bit of a big word. What that means is that in state law, it will be required by school districts to increase pay to $40,000 for minimum teacher pay. That has been something that has not been done in state law since, I believe, the 90s, and it was set at $25,000. So it's increasing it to $40,000.
It is a huge education bill. It's going to cost a lot of money, which I don't mind spending money on education because it is important. I think the concern some public schools around the state have that funding is going to be pulled from them is real. And I understand that. The one thing I absolutely agree with is raising teacher pay. It's objectionable that a teacher could enter the profession and make $25,000 a year, as important as the job is.
And we should ban child marriages in Missouri because the loosest laws that we do have, it's one reason why there's so much trafficking in the state.
And that is another thing that is being held up in the state of Missouri because a handful of people don't think it should be a rule. Okay. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji, you have got another opportunity to win tickets to see Chelsea Handler. We'll tell you when. That's coming up on KMOX.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
At 12:30, we've got some wind and 74 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This just in.
The last major independent cell phone carrier outside of the Big Three is set to be sold, according to the Wall Street Journal. T-Mobile and Verizon are in talks to purchase and divide up U.S. Cellular. Thousands of people across the Southeast are cleaning up after severe storms and tornadoes tore through the region. At least 3 people were killed, 2 in Tennessee and 1 in North Carolina. CBS News national correspondent Dave Malkoff reports from Western Tennessee.
We just crossed over the Mississippi River, so we're in Tennessee right now. We're coming from Barnsdall, Oklahoma, where 70 homes were torn down by an EF4 tornado that came through several neighborhoods there. A lot of people are devastated by that. There was at least 1 fatality.
Brain surgeons are talking about a disclosure from presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that a worm got into his brain and did some damage.
RFK Jr. says in 2010, he experienced severe memory loss and mental fog, possibly due to a worm that got into his brain and, as he put it, ate a part of it. It can happen, says CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
I can tell you as a neurosurgeon, it's a rare condition, but it's typically something that is caused by eating undercooked pork. And again, we don't know this for sure, but just based on the description that we're hearing, sounds very much like this, where you eat undercooked pork and the larvae get into your bloodstream and then basically can spread throughout the body in the bloodstream. They can go to all sorts of different organs, including the brain.
Gupta says sometimes surgery is needed to correct it, but RFK Jr. says he has since fully recovered without any surgery or treatment and no longer has any brain fog or memory problems. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Cardinals and Mets were rained out yesterday as the series finale could not be played. The Mets end up sweeping the 2-game series from St. Louis, and the single game will be made up at Busch Stadium later on in the season on August 5th. Up next for the Cardinals, a 4-game series in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Sonny Gray, who was supposed to start yesterday, instead will start tonight. He enters with a 4-1 record, a .89 ERA, 6:40 first pitch. That means our coverage begins at 5:45. The Redbird Report is sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Win big with a pool or spa at AlohaPoolsUSA.com. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
We've got some road work in the 2 left lanes of 5570 going west at between 255 and Illinois 111. So watch out there. And this afternoon, breezy, pleasant, sunshine, high 78. For tonight, could have a shower, partly to mostly cloudy, low 53. For tomorrow, stray shower, otherwise sunny, and a high of 71. Sponsored by Sachs Financial, wind 74, downtown Effie Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A goal without a plan is just a wish. To get started on your retirement income plan, call Sachs Financial today and live your best life now and in retirement. Sachs Financial, the home of the retirement compensation plan at retiresafestl.com.
Hi, I am Jackie Brock, the wife of our beloved Lou Brock, St. Louis Cardinal legend and Hall of Famer. I have a new resident. I am so excited to tell you about Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles, Missouri. It is my new residence where I find everything for life and living. The staff is incredible, kind, warm, cordial, supportive, everything that you would want in an independent living community. The activities are innumerable, and we find the food the best in town. Call in today about the $99 move-in special, 636-754-2317. I'll see you there.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Get ready for Live Nation's Concert Week on LiveNation.com from May 8th to May 14th. $25 tickets to over 5,000 shows. Go to Odyssey.com/contest to enter for your chance to win a $2,500 gift card. This is a national contest.
Hi, I'm Cardinals second baseman Nolan Gorman. It's game day.
It's the Cards and Brewers tonight. Ameren Total Access 545. First pitch 640.
Let's play ball.
On your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay, and I pity any girl who's in me today. I feel charming, oh so charming.
Amy.
That's what Ron sings to himself every morning.
Day.
Every day.
I look in that mirror and I go, oh God, I have to do this. But also I look pretty. Every single day. Heidi Stevens is a columnist for the Chicago Tribune.
Okay.
And I saw this yesterday, but she is turning 50 years old. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Amy's not there either. You've got what, about a couple of years?
Couple of years.
You got a couple of years before you get to 50?
Yep.
So this entire thing is she's talking about how you spend your entire life, you're in your 20s and you're in your 30s and your 40s, and you're trying to maintain a certain look. And you're very concerned about how you look. And it's you spend so much of your time trying to believe what in your mind is presentable to other people that maybe it's a little bit too much. And she says 50. 50 is the age that I'm going to stop doing all that. Here's what she says. It's the age to give it all up. 40 or 30 or 20 would also have been good ages to give that up. And some of you did. And I'm so proud of you. And you can tell me your secret if we ever run into each other at Target. 60 or 70 is also a good age to give that all up. Not the plucking and the buffing and all the rest. Give them up if you want to. Hold on to them if you want to. Dye your hair. Stop dyeing your hair. Get Botox. Don't get Botox. Get fillers. Don't get fillers. Have things tucked and tightened or don't. You already won the game just by showing up. I'm hoping about 50, or what I'm hoping about 50, is that we can remember to fall in love a little bit with parts of us that reveal our age. So while none of us in this room are 50 years old, and Matt Pajeski is 15,
so he actually is not allowed to join this conversation at all.
But he does look terrible anyway.
And I can't get married too.
You cannot get married.
Right.
Oh, no, you can.
can.
For right now, you can.
You better hurry up.
Hopefully, they'll do something about that soon. But do you feel any of this, or do you feel like you're constantly trying to keep up? I mean, you run marathons all the time, so it's not like you have to worry about that part.
But you do. Yes, you're always trying to keep up. Whether it was, I always say from the earliest ages, girls learn, oh, my value is in my appearance. If I'm skinny, if I'm whatever's considered traditionally beautiful, what have you, because it starts like in the grocery store with the magazines. And it's like these perfect women, just absolutely perfect. And even as a kid, I knew it was Photoshopped, but it didn't matter. And I love this example because this was mind-blowing to me. Cindy Crawford, already perfect when she was young and in the height of her modeling career, was on Oprah, and they showed this cover of her, and she's standing there in a very, very short dress, right? Very beautiful. And she said that they cut off the equivalent, the Photoshop, edited out the equivalent of 2 inches off of each of her thighs, like 2 inches off of Cindy Crawford, whose already entire job is to watch what she eats, stays thin, look beautiful, be toned. Then I realized, well, this is an impossible game. You also see the magazines that would say like 385 ways to improve your look for spring. That was a real one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 385 ways like that I need to improve. There's always this pressure on women to look pretty, look beautiful, but don't look like you tried. Where if you get in trouble for not wearing makeup, you get criticized for wearing too much makeup. You get criticized for like, well, she focuses on her health or her diet, she's being selfish. Oh, she let herself go. What is she thinking? There's this impossible standard. And I do think celebrities who almost, they try to be relatable, like, oh, well, I'm relatable, but they're They've won, a lot of them have won the genetic lottery.
Of course. That's why they're celebrities.
Yes, right. Like Jennifer Garner may try to say, I'm relatable. And Jennifer Lopez may try to be, I'm relatable.
Yeah.
She's not. The reason why you're where you are is because you won the genetic lottery.
Of course.
B, your entire job, or at least a big part of it, is how you look. It just is. You have stylists, you have nutritionists, you have the time to work out and work on your appearance all the time, and then C, anything that needs to be changed, like even the ever perfect Blake Lively has had multiple cosmetic surgeries.
So here's the way I feel about, clearly there is more pressure on women to live up to a certain physical standard than men have to deal with. We have it a little bit. I think we do get judged based on how we dress or whatever. We don't have big muscles, whatever it is. I think we get that, but it's not to the level you get it. Here's the way I personally feel about women who are trying. I don't care if you don't wear makeup. That doesn't bother me at all. If a woman goes out of the house and doesn't have anything on her face, I don't care. That's perfectly fine with me. It's when there's too much of it, or the people who do get the lip filler injections and it looks cartoonish. None of us like that. I'm telling you right now.
This is your PSA.
We hate it. So if you're like, oh, I want my lips to be fuller, and then you get that stuff and they just look like tires. You know what I'm talking about?
Well,
universally, men hate it. And I think a lot of women hate it too. It looks stupid. Stop doing it. You don't have to. You don't have to. You look great without it. Stop doing. I know people personally, women in my life who are beautiful, and they do that. And the ones I'm closest to, I'll say, why? You do not need to do this.
What is their answer?
Like, oh, yes, I do. You don't get it. It's always some version of that. You don't get it. Like, I think I do, because I'm not sure who your audience is, but I feel like I'm in that audience, and we all don't like it because we can tell it's not you. We don't. I would rather you be you, and whatever imperfections you have that are in your mind, we don't care.
Sometimes, okay, except I don't think men understand what's not you. And what I mean by that is I had a friend who, he's like, oh my gosh, Jennifer Lopez is so beautiful. And I know she works out, but like, I love her hair is so beautiful. She's so beautiful. I'm like, that's not her hair. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that hair is a foot lower than her boobies. Like, it's at her waist. That's not her hair. And so he's like, no, it is. So I pulled up an Instagram, and she had like this bob, it's called actress hair. Your hair is, it's a wig. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I had another friend who, I'm not going to out him, but there was this other lady she's very, very lean. She's also was what he thought was very, very well endowed. Large cup size, we'll say. And I said, okay, those aren't real. He's like, yes, they are. I'm like, no, they're not. No one weighs 85 pounds and has like triple D bra size. Trust me. And because I also know they're not. And he's like, oh, well, I thought that was real. So then that's when I became more hopeless, because you think guys like a real woman. And I'm like, I think a lot of guys are dumb enough. They don't know what's real.
Well,
and I'm like, dude, and that's why that comedian, she's like, I just want to tell men, I'm not ugly. I'm poor. That's the difference. I'm not ugly. I'm poor.
Right.
And so you're comparing us to people who have, the average woman, to people who have won the genetic lottery and have unlimited funds to buy all the best food and face products and get surgery and get, their hair, like literal either extensions put in or whatever it may be. So there's that. Yes, guys say they want a natural woman, but sometimes I think they don't know what that looks like.
You're probably right, but we can absolutely tell if you've had too much Botox because your eyebrows don't move.
Or what about
your
neck
cheeks
under?
don't move.
Neck below the neck. Neck down. I feel like guys are pretty judgy.
Wait, neck all the way down?
Because you've only focused on the neck up. Going, well, don't do your lips. But neck down, I mean, there's a lot that goes in there too.
I'm not judgmental. Personally, I'm not.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But I will say this whole idea of like
Matt Pajeski is. He just said he's like that. So
judgy.
that's the kind of man you got to worry about. Matt
But
Pajeski.
to this woman's article, I did see something recently where it said, when do women, like, can't you stop trying to be sexy or trying to live up to some standard? When can you just fully embrace yourself? And instead of that being at a certain age, I would hope that would be at the age that you are existing in right now. That age right now, where you do what makes you feel good, be healthy, because people say, oh, well, you shouldn't let yourself go. Well, no, you shouldn't, but not for men or not for other people, for yourself.
Yeah, so you don't die.
Well, so you don't die. You have fewer diseases. You can take care of yourself. You can feel good about yourself, because it does feel good to do whatever it can be. Go for a walk if you have to walk the dog in the morning, get some fresh air. I always say, like, wash your face at night. It's like making the bed. Do what you can, and that makes a big difference. But have your confidence come in. Not your looks are one of the least interesting things about you.
The only thing I would, I told you my first requirement, and that is don't do the lip filler thing. We can all tell. It's not good.
You've been traumatized by that.
Also, it's not trauma. I just see people doing it, and I go, I've seen what your mouth looks like before.
Yeah.
Last week, look good.
Well,
you don't need that.
The most,
It looks cartoonish.
Again, you don't want to judge, because I get the pressure. I 100% get the pressure. The one thing with running may make you fit, but it ages your face. I mean, with like the sun and the wind and the sweat and the elements. And so you get self-conscious. You're like, oh, wrinkles and sunspots. And it's like, that's who I am. I would rather go outside and see the effects of that than not stay outside. I think there's beauty in wrinkles and smile wrinkles and everything.
I just want you to try not to be stinky.
Okay.
Don't be stinky.
I'll try not to be stinky.
That goes for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't be a smelly person if you
I think
can
you might
avoid
need
it.
to send that PSA out to a lot of guys too.
No
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I know a lot of dudes who just reek.
Oof.
Yeah. Put something on, man. Get in the shower. Don't wear leather jackets in the summer. So I know somebody who does that. It's
Ugh.
wild.
Wow.
It's not so much about your nose, it's about your eyes. You got to get your eyes checked. Did you know that? And so what you do is you make your appointment with Ophthalmology Associates, because
they smell nice.
I went into the office,
Yeah.
it smells great.
Yeah.
Not a single smelly problem. No olfactory problems in Ophthalmology Associates, where you need to get your eyes checked because the weather is getting warmer. Maybe you have some allergies, dry eyes, some issues that you're dealing with. And it could be that there's something else underlying that's going on, and it's manifesting with your eyes. So make your appointment with Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. They're on Manchester Road. They are just west of 270. And when you go there, you're going to make an appointment with one of the terrific doctors, Ranjan Malhotra. That's my guy. Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, Greg Birdie, Samuel Berry joined the staff not too long ago. They are fantastic. The doctors, over 250 doctors in the area go to Ophthalmology Associates to get their eyes checked. And if you have insurance, there's a very good chance that your insurance will cover all or part of your visit. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
What do Donna Vogt, Janet Williams, Susan Honor, and Jonathan Erst have in common? They're just some of the best fans in baseball and winners of a pair of tickets to an upcoming game at $100 to Rawlings. Want to get in on the winning? To get entered, head to KMOX.com/contests and upload a photo of you decked out in your game day attire. The best fans in baseball, presented by KMOX and Rawlings, the mark of a pro.
Quality windows deserve quality service. Ampella Windows and Doors of St. Louis is here to make your window buying journey easy. Enjoy concierge-level service from knowledgeable advisors, along with windows that are tailor-made for you and savings that make a difference. Get 20% off qualifying Pella projects or 0% APR for 60 months. Offer ends May 31st. From consultation to installation, we handle all the details for you. Get started at PellaBranch.com/St. Louis. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hi, I'm Mark Cuban, entrepreneur, businessman, and TV fan. People always come to me for investment advice. So here's a quick tip for you. Stop overpaying for cable and switch to Philo. What's Philo? It's the best way to watch more than 70 of your favorite channels and save big on your monthly bills. You can stream top channels like AMC, A&E, Discovery, Live, and On Demand. Philo's also got a library with thousands of hours of movies and shows just waiting for you. Plus, an unlimited DVR that lets you save all your favorites and rewatch them for up to 1 year. All of this for just $25 a month. You don't need me to tell you that this is a deal you need to make. Philo, now and forever.
Head on over to philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv. And start your 7-day free trial now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Illinois is mailing annual Medicaid renewals, which means that you need to make sure you stay covered.
Medicaid keeps me covered.
It keeps me covered too.
Staying covered with Medicaid means keeping yourself safe.
Keeping your loved ones and your family safe.
Everyone's due date is different.
So go to abe.illinois.gov to check your renewal date and update your address.
And stay covered.
A roller coaster ride of banter and brilliance. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Tickets for Chelsea Handler, baby.
Soon has arrived.
Soon is here.
Soon
if you
is
want to
here.
go see Chelsea Handler, this is your time to maybe win those tickets. We are looking for caller number 4. Caller number 4, 314-955-1120. And if you are that caller, number 4 to 314-955-1120, our contest line, you will see Chelsea Handler at Stiefel Theater October 26th. We'll give away another pair of tickets tomorrow, by the way.
So be careful.
Be very careful when you call in.
Okay, near and dear to my heart. Near and dear to my heart is Girls on the Run St. Louis. And today is Give STL Day.
Oh, yeah.
So they encourage people to give, make a donation to nonprofits. And if I may indulge myself and just make a plug for Girls on the Run St. Louis. So you can go to girlsontherunstllouis.org or GOTRSTL.org and give to them. Today, all of the donation money will go to running shoes and sports bras for the girls in their program, their running program. 100%, I should say, 100% of all the girls receive some form of scholarship. So no girl is ever turned away from the Girls on the Run running program because of money or financial needs. They have scholarships, 100% of the girls. I will be emceeing the Girls on the Run 5K this Saturday at Forest Park. They have a spring 5K and they have a fall 5K that they do. It's the culmination of the girls' training over the past few months. And it's not just learning how to run, it's empowerment for young girls. Just what we were talking about. You're more than your looks.
Right.
You are going to raise strong, courageous leaders who are active in their community. They are encouraging of one another and they complete this 5K. It's the coolest thing.
That's very, very cool. So,
and they have a huge need for running shoes. Because Girls on the Run has dozens and dozens and dozens of schools across the area, including schools where there's not a lot of funding, underserved areas. And so they'll provide shoes and sports bras for these girls.
Where's the place to go for information?
GOTRSTL.org.
GOTRSTL.org.
Or you can just Google Girls on the Run St. Louis and it will
Cool
pop
thing you're a
up.
part of.
I love it. It's my favorite program.
We have a winner for the pair of tickets to see Chelsea Handler. Who is it?
Kevin from Baldwin.
Kevin from Baldwin. Thank God somebody from Missouri.
St. Louis County.
Wow. St. Louis County.
Good for you guys.
Way to go, Kevin and Baldwin.
I'm putting my money on Illinois tomorrow.
Oh, there's no question about it.
St. Louis County 2 days in a row.
For whatever reason, they just know how to dial a phone better.
That's because you guys have Dialer's Ed.
We have Dialer's Ed, Driver's Ed, Dialer's Ed. We're better at both of those things. So
I know we got to go, but I'm going to tell you tomorrow about getting your driver's license in France. It's an ordeal.
Yeah, well, it probably should be.
It costs thousands of dollars.
Oh, well, that's tough.
I know.
All right, maybe not that hard. Anyway, that's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Anything you missed, it's on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you want to go back and listen, Jeff McCausland, Major Garrett, Emily Manley joined us, Matt Pauley. All that stuff is there for you. We are back with you at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we will have another pair of tickets for Chelsea Handler to give away. Have a terrific afternoon. We'll talk to you then. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program